I don't drink a lot of Irish whiskey, but
It's some smooth stuff, man.
I like it.
that's great.
Yeah, Tullamore Dew is really smooth.
What do you usually drink?
I'm a bourbon guy generally.
Okay.
Yeah, my stepdad is like almost too into bourbon.
So's my dad. It's all right. Yeah.
I mean, hello.
That's Jack.
Hey,
Jack Soul.
I love it, man. But yeah, he's like, I don't know. He's like, I'm friends with the guy at the liquor store. I'm like, he'll tell me. I'm like, dude, I do appreciate different glasses, but I'm also like, at the end of the day, they're splitting hairs on bourbon a little bit.
Right. I mean, bourbon's
Like,
bourbon, right?
Yeah, but unless you're getting like a rot gut bottle, like, I mean, we're really just enjoying getting drunk a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So,
Unless you get some of that, what is that? Red pecker or whatever.
Oh God, yeah. The red pepper.
there is a line, man.
Yeah.
the Woodbury native.
Yeah, there's a red. I don't think it's not bourbon. Obviously, it's made in Tennessee, but it's a.
No,
it's
it
made,
can be bourbon.
Well, I thought bourbon was
No, it doesn't.
Kentucky.
It does not have to be in Kentucky.
I thought that was
Really?
Yeah.
The
I
distinction.
thought it was.
No,
I thought it
no,
was.
It's a common misconception. We learned that when we were at what is it? George Dickel. It is a common misconception. I don't know where that myth originated,
No
but
shit.
yeah,
Huh.
it does not have to be in Bourbon County in Kentucky. It has to be a certain mash and a certain has to meet the requirements, but the requirements aren't location based.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I always thought it
I was
was.
on the
So,
same tip
yeah.
as you.
I
man.
did.
really
I did
think
too.
that-
And
I
then
did think the same
they told
thing.
us that,
Yeah.
and then I looked up, and they didn't lie to me.
It is weird. Like, I've seen like the whiskey distinction where it's
Yeah.
like the EY versus the Y, and they're like, where it's made and stuff. I think it's silly because like theoretically, you make the same thing somewhere else if you do. You should that makes sense more than Kentucky equals bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tennessee equals
Yeah.
whiskey,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
a car's a car. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
You can
know
make
what I mean?
a
It's got
Kia
an engine
in
and
Tennessee,
wheels.
dude. It's
Right.
fine. It'll
Right.
still be a Kia.
Right. That's funny. Yeah.
Nah, man. I used to not be into the whiskey. I hated whiskey. I drank whiskey. It was all the Jim Beam flavored crap. Like I never actually drank whiskey until I did that bourbon tour in the middle of COVID. So that was fun. I went there with
They make you
John.
wear a mask.
No, they did literally everywhere.
Like
Really, it
stand
was
6
insane.
feet away from your
Yeah,
glass.
no, it was insane.
Yeah, right.
And then they're like, "All right, take your mask off, Taylor. All right, put your mask
Sip
back
it,
on."
put it back
It was
back on.
crazy. It was 2021. Yeah,
Oh, you're right in the middle of it.
yeah.
Don't
Or
use
was
your
it
nose,
2021 or
don't smell it.
2020?
Right. Yeah.
Either
Smell
20.
it through the mask.
I think it was 2020. Anyway, 2020 or 2021 doesn't matter. But it it was because we were as a group of us. There's gonna be like 6 of us to go, and then it quickly fell off to just 3 of us going. Of course, my
The others died.
the COVID got them. No, they all pussied out. But it was funny because I got 2 hotel rooms and I was trying to get everyone confirmed. I'm like, confirm right now. I'm getting hotel rooms. They're super cheap because they're non-refundable.
Oh yeah.
I should have gotten the refundable ones because we had 2 hotel rooms and it was so funny. We literally the whole weekend we were there. It was John and Joe and me, and we literally just went into the other. We all stayed in the one hotel room and just went to the other one to shit.
Dude,
and
honestly,
steal the toiletries
you
and
travel
come back.
stink
hacks,
up the whole
to be
room.
honest.
Yeah.
That's a great travel hack.
That's respectable.
Yeah, it
Make
was
sure
great.
some of your boys get sick before you go on the bros trip. So you
No,
don't
they
have
did.
shitter.
John woke up hungover the Saturday morning, and he just went in there, threw up, came back, we went out.
Yeah,
Perfect,
like
yep.
you're not waking anybody up.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
If you get some on the floor, like really, it's
Not
room
a big
service's
deal.
problem. Let's be honest.
Exactly. Yeah, that's tomorrow's problem. Yeah, for sure. That's funny.
Yeah, so that was a trip. It was a fun trip because we went to Peerless. Peerless was really
Nice.
good. We went to Angel's Envy.
Hell yeah.
And then we went to one more that the tour wasn't open, but we went to the rooftop bar and just stayed there for 8 hours.
I bet it's pretty up there in Kentucky. And
Yeah.
so, yeah. a
Yeah, the
good
Louisville,
rooftop.
the rooftop Louisville bar was really cool. I can't remember the name of it, but Peerless was really neat because they're apparently they've got a number, their number for their distillery number is in the double digits. It's one of the original.
Wow.
They when they went out of business, they were able to come back and get it, I guess. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
And then Angel's Envy, we were there, and it was funny. Angel's Envy. It was funny because they just started and they only had the one whiskey,
Nice.
so they didn't have all these different batches. So they literally were like, "Yeah, we don't have a lot of options. It's the same thing." So Here's it neat. Here's it on ice. Here's it with some chocolate. And like, no, literally, like they gave us the same thing, just with like ice, chocolate, neat, and then like one other way. And I was like,
they're like, fuck, we only make one thing.
We gotta get these guys.
These people are expecting a service.
Do you want it 3 different ways?
I didn't know it was that new.
We'll have you a cheeseburger, no buns, cheeseburger with buns, cheeseburger, no sauce.
Yeah, it was hilarious, man. It was a good.
If you want to get crazy, you throw some ketchup on there.
Like they're fucking great. You know, I always buy an Angel's Envy bottle, but like as soon as I go to where they make it, I'm bored to tears. Man, they just I found out they only make one thing, whiskey.
It was crazy too, cause like it was like a ghost town, cause of COVID.
Yeah.
So we were out for the nightlife. It was one strip of bars that was open, and only one bar was open, and it was all outside. Like you could only go inside to order a drink, and you had to go back outside.
That's America right there.
Where's that? Louisville?
Yeah. It was Louisville.
Like only thing. Honestly, it makes so much sense, but like the only thing being open is just bars.
Yeah.
Like.
100%.
It's essential.
Yeah, it's essential work. Honestly, hey everybody, essential work.
That's why I always say I can't wait until Connor grows up or all the kids grow up, and I'd be like, yeah, back in our day, you used to buy alcohol to go, get it in a to-go cup.
The best is when they have the whole ass to go window. I'm like, I'll have a hurricane to go. Dude.
Yeah, right.
It's just a milkshake, officer. I promise.
Well, then the officers over here like, I don't care if it's alcohol to go. Where's your vaccine card?
Yeah,
right. Yes, dude.
He's like, I don't give a shit.
Kids today just don't understand where that vaccine card could get you. When we started our business, so we started it in 2021, and we went to Germany at the end of that year, and we were doing meetings all week, right? And then on the weekend, we're gonna get a hotel room in Brandenburgplatz in Germany, or in Berlin rather, and we're gonna just have a ball, we're gonna go clubbing, and they needed 3 layers of vaccination cards that we did not have. I mean, so I'm good. So we know a bunch of people in Germany. We throw this party in our hotel room. Literally, the guy that checked us in came up and was like, "Hey man," to one of my business partners, he was like, "Hey man, if you guys need anything, let me know." He's like, it's seemingly the front desk guy was also the Coke plug.
Perfect.
Yes, exactly. So we invite a bunch of German friends over that we know, and we have the windows open. We're sitting on this it's sitting in the window, essentially feet dangling out, smoking cigarettes, having a ball. We hit the town. We're like, we're gonna go clubbing. This is gonna be great. We get to the first club, and it's literally just hey, do you have your vaccination card? Do you have your German vaccination? I'm like, this is an American vaccination card.
Hast du ein Vaccinationkarte? Yeah. Hast du ein deutsche Vaccinationkarte?
I don't want to be political, but it did remind me of some other times that the Germans were particularly strict, man.
They're like, hey, do you have the cross? Do you have the red cross on your lapel?
Yeah.
Wait, I remember when you guys did this for a star, now it's a cross?
Look, I'm not sick. I'm just hammered. Please let me in. And that's wild, man. Kids 20 years from now, they won't know about it.
Did you end up getting in?
No, dude.
Oh, damn.
But the best is we were just riding the subway around with a big-ass JBL, boombox.
There you go. Okay.
And we were just dancing the subway.
Dude, the subway there's nice.
Oh, dude, it's fantastic. And especially in Germany, they're so rule strict. I was on a bus when we were there, and it was 3 p.m. and I have my feet on the seat in front of me, and this old woman from 3 seats back comes up and she's like, stop that right now. She's like, you got to get your feet off this. You're not even a part of the whole transit system, and you're imagine that
this
here.
Is so random lady.
Yeah. Just random lady, just riding the riding the bus, and she's like, no, we won't have that here.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So they're very, I love them. They're crazy, but they're also strict and rule oriented, which is.
Well, that's that they have the buy-in from the entire population too. That's that's intense.
I honestly think
can't
it's
even put
from the population. Like they
the
wouldn't
government.
they wouldn't even have a government if the people weren't like, yo, we actually want some rules.
Yeah, they're over here like, guys, we saw what happened when you don't govern us. We need some government.
They're like it's like the opposite of America, really, in that regard. It's like the Americans are like, you can't put fucking,
you can't tell me what to do.
You can't straddle me, man. Yeah. Government, no. And then the Germans are like, we please need some government.
Yeah,
please.
Tell us what to do, please.
Yeah. I think I'll take the chicken sandwich and the government. Will you have some?
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that. Huh?
That's awesome.
That's interesting.
Very much so.
So I think we jumped the gun here. So Braden, this is Braden. Welcome to the Inquiry Theory. We're 10 minutes in, and here's the introduction.
This is the best part, man.
Yeah. So we're here with Braden. Braden's a friend of ours. We're talking to him today because he is an entrepreneur. Dude's starting a restaurant. Got a food truck. He's got a physical location now.
Yes, sir.
Reunion
Bar.
In
Nashville.
What was it?
Reunion.
Okay.
Reunion Bar, Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right in 5 Points, Heart of East Nashville.
There you go.
Nice.
So you're the chef there. You've got a crew, and you guys run the whole menu and everything, and it's pretty neat. I've not been yet, but I need to.
Yeah.
No, we'll get out there.
These days, man. Y'all live far away. You get a pass.
Yeah.
You get a
for
pass.
For now.
Absolutely.
Well, that Nashville traffic, man.
Yeah.
You'll never get there.
Right.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about like the cuisine? Because you said you're in Germany, and I know the story of why you would be in Germany, but why don't you share?
So I grew up in part of Nashville, South Nashville, Green Hills area. Grew up down the street from these two brothers, and we played together as kids and whatnot, and like I guess theoretically knew each other, but then found each other predominantly through smoking weed in high school.
Amazing the connections you make.
Yeah.
Right.
Smoking weed and freestyling. That's how you make the best of friends and business partners. You know? But we, spent a lot of time making music together in high school, messing around, partying, doing all that stuff, and just grew really tight. And they're both raised in a German-speaking household. So their mother was raised in Switzerland, if I remember that correctly. Becky, if you're watching this, But so they both constantly had like German influence. Like their family really would have exchange students constantly through our upbringing. And Becky's a real go-getter in terms of just she's Mrs. networking. Always, if she hears that you are German or that you need this person, she'll wire everybody up. So essentially, Lucas and Tyson are my business partners. They go to Germany for exchange programs and are studying German at UT. And Tyson had spoken with Lucas while they're over there and was like, hey man, we should they're eating kebabs constantly. And so kebab culture in Germany is massive. It's every German eats one every other day, statistically. It's like the hamburger, the taco.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. It feels like it's a much more mobile way to do that. Actually on a stick kebab and everything?
No. That's the interesting part. So I guess...
Maybe I don't know what a kebab is.
It's like meat.
Well, yeah, exactly. So it's skewered meat, right?
Okay.
And so for instance, the Turkish doner kebab is going to be the big, it's where gyros come from. It's the original tradition of meat on a big spit in a cone, rotating. That being said, the word in most Middle Eastern dialects tends to basically be skewered grilled meat. So you will have something that's kofta or another skewered meat was what we think of, especially in America. They're kebab. Yeah, it's going to be this thing.
That makes sense.
But ours technically is skewered meat. It's just really big and it's shaved off, kind of like a gyro, differently spiced and all of that. And so it's unique to the Turkish group as opposed to Greek. So in the 70s and 60s, massive immigration program with Turkey. So German people were like, we need to like grow our population essentially, and they brought in a ton of Turkish immigrants. Kind of in a similar. I would compare it to like how the relationship is with like Mexican Americans and Americans.
Okay.
It's like the second biggest demographic behind like German people in Germany is Turkish people.
Gotcha.
And so like their food culture just like is massive there. And
Okay.
so my business partners, Lucas and Dyson, they're over there. They're eating like 3 of them a day. They love it. And I mean, in Berlin alone, there's 600 or so last time I checked. So this might be slightly out of date, but 600 at least companies are selling kebabs, doner kebabs specifically.
In just Berlin.
In just Berlin, a city of 8 million people.
Wow.
So yeah, 40 million are eating a day. There's 80 million people in Germany. So it's statistically, like I said,
Half the city.
every day or every 2 days, one German person consumes a kebab, and it's blown across Europe as like the go-to late night food, quick service food, in the same way that you would think of like tacos in America. It's like kind of, it's the second, like hamburgers are American. Tacos are probably eaten more than, even in that way. So like, the sausage is German, but like the kebab, that's
Interesting.
That's really it. And so they came back. And so I got into the business because Tyson came back and was like, hey, I got into Bitcoin kind of early and have some extra money for a 24-year-old, I guess, at the time. And he was like, I want to start a kebab business. And so through their like broader network of German friends and family, one of their German friends was like, I actually know some guys that like do a meat production facility in Berlin that supplies shops with like the cones. Y'all should come over here and talk to them. They also know guys that run the bakeries and the actual shops, like come and chat with us. And so Tyson was like, look, Braden, I will fucking give you a third of this business if you just help us make that happen. And so like my entry into the business is there. And so we went to Germany, met these guys, saw how it does, and we're like, this is a popular product in Europe, right? And it's we just the way that the world is globally, everyone's sharing everything. We thought like, this is going to happen in America. Somebody's going to do this. Why not throw our hat in the ring and be like, let's start at least, making a name for it in Nashville, where we're from. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, like Americans they're foodies, right? We like to eat. I mean, that, right? Yeah. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's like kind of the long-winded,
very cool
intro to.
And so you started. You didn't start with a bar though. You opened up like a food truck, right?
So Tyson specifically Lucas was still in Germany when we first incorporated, and Tyson wanted to, he's in the best possible way, just an absolute perfectionist. Like if he's going to do something, he's going to do it immaculately. I'm a little bit more impetus, or what do you call it? Impetuous. That's a better word.
I don't even know what that means.
It just kind of.
I really don't.
Do you got a definition for us, Zane?
Impetuous? No.
No.
Can you use it in a sentence, please? Besides the one you just used it in?
There's the perfectionist, and then there's the guy that's like, can we just sell food right now? That asshole. That was my role in the company to start, was just like, okay.
Can we just try to do it?
E-C.
I couldn't spell it. I can say it.
No, I get it though. I like that. That'd be me though. Yeah, for sure.
But we were just he wanted to get the bread recipe correct, because you can't find the bread that's used there.
Okay.
In America, we tried touching base with some like New Roz Cafe and a few in Zaytun. There's some like Middle Eastern bakeries in like off Nolensville in Nashville. No one could really do exactly the bread we were talking about, and so Tyson's just in there like defining the company basically with this bread. And kind of jumping the gun, I'm like, before we even really have the product fully nailed down, I'm like, all right, I'm booking us a gig. invest in like some kitchen equipment and like a tent, and are just like building a kitchen and showing up to various places. And we got hooked up with Bearded Iris, a Nashville brewery.
Yep.
And so we're doing pop-ups there, and that was a huge launch pad for us. Like we were like, if people are interested in this, they'll come out and they'll try it, and it'll justify us investing more of their money, frankly. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like my mindset the entire time is like, I actually, I was studying at MTSU at the time, and I was working at a Chili's, and I aspire to much more than where I was at the time, but I didn't know what I was doing with myself, and they gave me that opportunity to like be like, all right, I can own something. It is nothing at this point, but I want to build it into something.
Yeah, that entrepreneur spirit.
Yeah,
entrepreneurial
exactly.
spirit.
And I also felt doubly on that. It was like, it does suck to like invest money and then be like, I got to make sure this makes money. But it's interestingly different when it's like someone else is being like, I'm investing this money, and I'm like, oh shit, like I now have a purpose in life, but like I owe it to you. So like it's not just
you're on the hook.
Yeah,
and it's not just your own hook, because I understand that, because if I'm responsible for something, if it's just me who's affected by something, okay, but if it's someone else who's affected by what I do, then that's adds more weight to it.
Totally. And like my number one goal was like obviously make the business as good as I can, but the real number one goal for me was to make sure that like given this opportunity, I do not want like Lucas or Tyson and the money they're investing in this, I do not want them to like regret that, and like what it being brought in and being like, hey, can you help us do this? It's like it was completely different than any like job I'd ever had, like I know I'm vital in another job, but like here I'm like, even when you're not looking after your money, I want to make sure I'm looking, it just
responsibility
was a huge,
there.
Yeah, absolutely. A deep responsibility.
And especially knowing them and respecting them, you want to ensure that you're trying and you're actually giving it 110%. Like you said earlier, I mean, if it's just you on the hook, then sometimes some people are more like, okay, I'll take that loss. But if you're dealing with someone else's stuff and property and money and everything, you're way more likely to give it your all if you're an honest, genuine, hardworking person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like washing somebody else's dog or like babysitting for somebody. You know what I mean? Like you'd pay more attention to somebody else's stuff than you would your own, just because it's not yours, like yeah for sure,
absolutely. And it really honestly, because I've been a good and bad employee in my life, so like it really did like
I think everyone
as
I feel that
most people should totally relate to, and it really did like just to like kind of wrap it into like the whole entrepreneurial sort of like spirit of the discussion is like it really like it's hard to describe. I mean, that first year, I remember waking up and being like, because I was taking entrepreneurship classes at MTSU, and I remember waking up and like in the middle of the night, and I'm like writing paragraphs of notes, just like, we need to make sure this is covered. That like stuff that nowadays I'm like, this is like the Milanese of like running a business, and so like the permitting and making sure like you get comfortable with something, like riding a bike, it's like I don't need to like at first you're like, oh, I need to like put some oil on the chain, and like that sounds like, oh, like that's so much shit to remember. And then nowadays it's like this it's pedaling, I'm just figuring out where we're going, and so like the oiling becomes kind of second nature. But looking back at it, crazy moments of just I'm dreaming of something, and I'm like, wake up, Michaela's laying next to me, I'm like in my notes, she's like, it's 4 a.m. I'm like, I just don't want to forget.
It's that meme. I bet he's thinking about another woman, and you're over there like, oh, I gotta figure this out, otherwise we're gonna fail.
What if we forget about this? Like, this is gonna be forgotten if I don't type this out right now.
That's cool though. It shows like how passionate you were about it though.
Sure,
like
absolutely.
I don't remember the last time I woke up in the middle of the night thinking about something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's super neat.
So you said, looking back at, how long have you been working on this?
So we incorporated in March of 2021. So I guess our 4th birthday is coming up in about a month, or maybe several days actually, into February. I forget it's short. But yeah, we've been doing it. And that really, well, the first year was like, that summer was R&D. We built a whole kitchen in Lucas and Tyson's parents' their garage, and we were just, you know, making things and being like, does this taste right? I mean, we're just like playing around with all sorts of things, and then in August we started setting up that tent. So that's kind of like.
So you went tent to food truck to now food truck and a location?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
So we've been doing the food truck, and I will say, especially in Nashville, I think food truck economy is different where you go. Like, I think LA and New York, they get a lot of street traffic. Like, people are walking around in their cities a lot more. Nashville is interesting. I saw a food trucker tweet about this the other day from Nashville. He's a guy I really appreciate. His name's Daniel. He runs Chivanadas. They've got a spot in the soccer stadium. He's kind of like maybe a role model is a good way to put it. But he was like, you know, we don't have the walking traffic, so it's a lot of it is like events, like, because there are a ton of events in Nashville, and so really it becomes pounding pavement of like creating relationships with these events and like saying, you know, hey,
what's the repeat customer look like for that? Because if it's events, I'm sure it's a lot of branding and you know, social media networking to get you're going places like. So I imagine if it's not random foot traffic, it's got to be a little more specialized foot traffic. And through going to same like events, you build up a following of people.
Sure. So like that's been an interesting thing, and it's honestly what highly motivated us to like work on the deal we have right now with like the centralized location, because we wind up, it's the food we make is something that if you've been to Europe, you generally come across it, or if you're from Europe, you definitely know about it. Like, there's a niche community that's like, as soon as they see that, they're like, that's like, I have to eat it.
Especially if you can honestly recreate that.
Oh yeah, and that was a core value. Like, it was, and that's I will give Tyson massive flowers. Like, him and I have different mindsets in terms of like I said, he is very much like, I want this product to be a perfect replica of what they do in Germany, and I'm like, we need to sell the product. And so like it's a fantastic balance. And then Lucas as well is like a mediator of both. Like, he's, you know, a psych major, like really like fantastic like balancing act. But essentially from the get-go, Tyson was foot down, like, we need to make an authentic product. And so once we kind of encapsulated that, when the food truck was running, we would get customers from Germany or people that have traveled to Europe or are familiar with it, and they're like, I've looked for this in America for years. I mean, we've had people that are like 15 years removed, like some service vets that like toured and lived in Germany 15 years ago, and they're like, I hate this all the time. When I was there, haven't had it in 15 years, and they're like, this brought me right back. And I'm like, that's amazing. So we have built some sort of culture around it, as well as like people from America, especially with like, we do the Tennessee State Fair out in Wilson County, and we're introducing a lot of people to this food. Like, nobody is typically very familiar with it.
I don't think I've ever tried it.
Yeah,
I'm going to one day.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Have you been able to like you've started in the bar already?
Yeah, so we started a month ago.
Have you been able to bring any people from like the food truck?
Oh, absolutely,
business to the bar?
Absolutely. So that I was kind of getting there with saying like your original question, like how has that been able to happen? We do actually have a fantastic following, like a pretty dedicated, like we see people at the food truck at a lot of events. And then over the past couple of years, we have tried to like post up as much as we can on like weekdays. It's just hard to do that from a food standpoint if you're not at a physical location. So this jump into Reunion Bar has been a great way to like finally give all the people that have been like we catch you as much as we can and we love you, but now they can come whenever they want.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was like the main reason we want to do it, truthfully. Like, we'll just be like, we get DMs all the time. They're like, do you have, or even at the truck, they're like, do you have a place we can catch you often or like regularly? And I'm like,
Unfortunately. Sorry.
Follow our Instagram, Right. I hate saying that. And so like, I am very grateful because I think it says a lot about what we do to like, over this amount of time, people have stuck with us and been like waiting for that and, are giving us that business when, they're coming to Reunion now. So.
When you host events, because you've told me separately about the events you want to do and kind of like the cookouts, because the Reunion bar, I don't know if I've never been, but I've seen pictures and I want to go. It's a really cool bar and they've got an outdoor like seating area, like a nice. Is it up or is it like behind? Is it like ground level or it looks almost like it's a rooftop?
So there's two. So like they have like the full bar, right? And then you go out in the back and there's like a garage door, like a windowed garage door type thing. Slide that up and it's like a turf patio kind of thing. And then you can walk up a few flights and you're like 2 stories up and you can see over East Nashville. And so they've got like a big deck on top. So there is like multi-tiered, but there's 2 levels to the outdoor situation. So.
That sounds like a nice setup.
It is. I want to go because he's got me. I'm hungry right now, and I'm sure I'll be hungry in the future. So I'm gonna want to go get some food there.
One does.
I'm intrigued. I want to taste the bread. I want to figure out what that's all about.
Yeah. But you've told me those events you're gonna do. I mean, it sounds like you're gonna be able to get, from what you said and now and in the past, there's gonna be a lot of people coming to like these events because if you're already pulling that type of interaction with people in just pop-up locations, one would say, because food truck pop-up, and then now you go, hey, actually we're going to be hosting this event at a physical location. If you can't make this one, we got another one. But it just sounds like it's a great way to really grow and bring business to that bar as well, because that seems like that's a big goal too.
We think
with the partnership there.
Absolutely. And like the owners are great folks. They own another bar over in the Nations that does really well. I think it's slightly older than Reunion. And I really think with Reunion, it hasn't like actualized its potential. Like it's right in the middle of like kind of the heart of East Nashville, in my opinion. 5 Points is like the it's hard to say downtown, but like, it's across the river from downtown, but it is like the commerce hub of East Nashville.
It's where you get the regulars, not where you get the tourists so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Being a tourist to being not a regular, but like living in the area. That's definitely an area that I think more regulars would go because it's not the strip. It's not the strip. It's not the overcrowded, overpriced bars. It's buildings that have character and stuff that goes on besides just everyone get drunk.
Well, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. Yep. It's not Broadway.
Yeah. Broadway is Broadway to anyone who
not knocking it, but
to anyone to anyone visiting, Broadway is amazing. To anyone living here,
it's old.
It's just something else. Anyone watching, it's like the strip of Vegas. I live in Vegas, and someone's like, "Oh, do you go gamble all the time and just have a ball?" And you're like, "No,
there's a cool.
I don't even give a fuck about the MGM Grand.
Yeah,
I'm a real person. Dude. I got a job.
I have responsibility.
I have to wake up every morning.
I've got 2 kids, bro. You think I'm at the casino every day?
Hell yeah, I am. I gotta get away from those shits. No,
you might want to be there.
Yeah. So the funniest story, like just another example of like how Nashville and the Broadway has turned into such a tourist location. So before I moved down here, when I was just visiting all the time, and I was out in Broadway. I can't remember who I was with. I think it was Leah, Michaela, all them.
Nice.
And we got separated. And like, I don't know, but I look up, and this is when I lived in Ohio, was still going to Ohio State, still working there, all that stuff. And I see these like one of the tour buses go by, and you always glance at them, but you never actually pay attention to them, right?
Yeah.
I look up and I'm like watching. I stop and I'm like, oh my God, It's like, that's some girl I worked with. I've never, like, I was just visiting for the weekend, and I can't remember her name, Maddie or whatever, and I'm just like, whoa, I'm like, there's no way that's not her. And then I go back to work the following week, and I talk to her. I'm like, hey, so not to be creepy or anything, I was like, were you happen to be in Nashville over the weekend? She goes, yeah, how'd you know? I'm like, well, apart from your copious amounts of Snapchat stories.
Yeah. I get this. I actually saw you in real life.
Yeah, I was like, I saw you in person. She goes, what?
IRL or
I was
whatever.
like, yeah. I was like, you were on the party bus, and like I saw you up there and with your friends and everything. She goes, he should have said something to come up there. And in my head, I'm like, no.
I mean,
no.
just
I'm like,
logistics.
I was like, logistics, and that's a death sentence.
That you're in a moving vehicle.
I'm like,
hammered.
I'm like, I'm here with my at the time girlfriend or fiance, and I see a girl I work with, and your immediate reaction is, you should come join the bus with us. And I'm like,
Filled with drunk girls.
I'm like, yeah, that's not a good look.
She was still on the Nashville vibe, man.
Yeah.
Dad had it.
Exactly.
She's like, yeah, baby, come, yeah, we're having a
I will say, I did take my.
You want to come party with us?
I was one of those dudes because I did take my
Great
bachelor
impression.
party. I did take my bachelor party in Nashville.
Hey, that's
But
very
that's because I
classic.
lived here, so it wasn't. I didn't come down here to go.
Sure.
I lived here, and I did get to finally stand in a limo.
Just
Are you like out of the sunroof?
Well, I don't know. I don't remember if it
Did
was
you
a
put your
limo.
hands
I can't
up and
remember.
everything?
No, I stood up, like full
out-
upper body up out
shit.
from the sunroof.
There you go.
I can't remember if it was
you
a
were
limo
riding
or.
free.
Yeah, as
You
you
got
should.
You unlocked.
Yeah,
You unlocked the
it was
seat
great.
belt
I
and
will
you
say
just said,
everything that looks like in the movies. Well, the driver encouraged it.
Let's go.
He's like, yeah, good. I was like, can I get over there? He's like, yeah, go for it. So I like
Winning
got over
Music
there.
City, man.
Once in your life, you have to.
Yeah, that was a wild night. I was back at the hotel before 1 a.m.
Because they get you started in Nashville early.
Oh,
man.
so
they're
early.
Like, they're like, come to brunch. Be
no,
fucked up
no,
before
no.
noon
Oh yeah.
and be there.
My
as late as
cousin
you can survive.
Oh, yeah.
showed up.
Yep.
My cousin
Yep.
showed up. We were at the FGL bar, rooftop. My cousin,
There's no cutting anybody off.
no. We were at the FGL bar, and my cousin shows up, who was in town for the wedding, but he wasn't out for the bachelor party. And he just shows up, found where we were, shows up, and it just starts buying me double shots of Patron.
Oh God.
So I did not make it to 1 a.m. There was no way.
That was doomed.
Yeah.
Doom from the start.
Yeah, one person escorted me back to the hotel, and then everyone else stayed out the rest of the night.
I believe it. Yep.
Oh, it was
That's how it should be though.
Nashville's. It was wild. It was a wild time. But anyway, so back to the whole. Would you call it? Can I call it a restaurant?
I would call it a restaurant.
Call it a restaurant.
I
now?
like to call it a restaurant.
Okay, because that's the term that keeps jumping to my mind. But I'm like, I don't know the terminology.
I think
work in the kitchen. I don't know.
I would say we have a residency
Okay.
at the bar at Reunion,
Okay.
but we love them. They love us. We're not going anywhere, and I call it a restaurant. You know, you can come in 7 days a week, eat food, get a
Okay.
drink.
Perfect.
Sounds like a restaurant to me.
Yeah.
Right
on,
there, you know. I don't want to jump the gun. I'm not a restaurant owner, you know. I'm just a guy who owns a kitchen
Who runs a
that isn't
kitchen.
a bar where you can sit down and eat food.
Brick and mortar location.
So like a restaurant.
Yeah. Once you start
I
talking
don't like
about
putting
it,
labels on things.
yeah,
dude.
it's still casual. It's still casual. Anyone watching, it's casual. We're flirting.
We're not
like,
trying to commit to anything
yeah,
yet.
like
you know?
I don't buy her Ubers yet. You know, like,
That's funny.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But that's wild. So you did how long did you do the food truck for?
so we got the food truck started in. This is actually a good story. Nah, not great story, but just
Good, not great.
Yeah,
We're around for good stories.
Yeah, I'd give it a good story. I have my mom's cousin's husband.
That's a connection.
He's a guy
Wow.
who all my family's from northern Minnesota. He's a guy.
Are they
that-
Vikings fans?
They're very serious about it.
Yikes.
Me, not so much. You know?
Go Pack, go.
Yeah. And essentially, he heard about like me trying to start this when we were just the tent. And was like, man, I know guys that build these out, build food trucks custom, and we were like, we need somebody like that. And so he hooked me up with these guys in Minneapolis. They built the food truck out, Chameleon Concessions. Yes, Chameleon Concessions. Got to shout them out. They built a fantastic food truck for us. Flew up there in May of 22. Drove the truck back to Nashville. Holy shit. I'm like, $120,000 like the whole way back. I was like, I'm not even the one that invested the money, and they're like, yo, go pick that shit up, drive it 18 hours back, because that shit can't go very fast.
Why me?
I'm like, 3 hours into the drive, like the battery acted up when I like refilled some gas in it, and I was like, I spent 3 hours at that like road station. I like walked over to the AutoZone that was like 2 miles down the road, like get like because it requires two car batteries. I get 2 big batteries, and just trumpet them back, and I'm like, good God, could this be any worse?
He gets back, the truck's gone.
Yeah,
That's a plot to a movie.
I will say, as the bigger your vehicle gets and the more difficult it is to drive, the lower chance somebody's gonna try and hawk that shit. Like if you got a Porsche and it's like low to the ground, somebody's gonna hop in that. You leave it on when you go into the gas station.
He can just pick it up with his hands like a smart car. Like, I'm taking this.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, no one, like every time someone's gonna get in this vehicle and be like, what do I even
You're gonna come back and they're just making food in it.
I'm like, oh dude, look, all the money's in like fucking screwed in kitchen equipment.
Do I even want this?
Yeah, like this is the worst heist of all time.
Dude gets back there and you're like, what are you doing? You're like, well, I was gonna steal it, then I didn't want to. Then I got hungry, so I kind of hung out for a bit.
I saw your menu on the wall, and I was like, yo, like,
can you make me something?
that just like, before I get into it further, that reminds me of a funny moment. We were driving through Franklin. It was like 9 a.m. We're going to a Franklin High School. They're doing like some type of pep rally. They want like lunch, right? And it's like 9:30 in the morning. I'm just filling the truck up with gas. The station clerk comes out and is like, hey man, can you make me some food? And I was like, first of all, like your coworker, like you had to have said to your coworker, hey, look, you see that food truck out there? Like, are you cool if I just like don't work for a little bit and I go and ask them if I can get some food? And they had to be like, yeah, great idea. Well, you should go see what they got.
Bring me back something.
And I'm like, dude, you even know what it takes to like, I'm filling the tank up with diesel.
Does he think you just drive around with the ovens on?
Like, they do. They do. I mean, like when I was like, look, I can't do anything for you. That like the look in his eyes is sincerely like, the fuck, your food truck?
Yeah, right. Like, what do you mean?
I was like, bro, I have to try. Like, it takes 30 minutes for the fryer to come to temp. I mean,
right.
You like even know what you're talking. I mean, it was, and he came out there with the fullest confidence that he's like, honestly, like this will probably work. They'll definitely go.
It must be so nice to live life that naive,
dude. Baffling.
Not a care. Like everything's so simple. Ignorance is bliss. No. Ignorance that you're ignorant is bliss. Like
that dude is so far from ignorance. Like he doesn't even know that it exists. He doesn't like he's ignorant on the word ignorance. It was baffling to me, man.
That's crazy.
Your worldview must be so rock solid.
Right. Yeah.
Like it must be so nice to not question anything in your life.
It'd be like watching someone unload something from a truck and be like, should I go ask them if they want to get ice cream? Like, are they, like it really was just like, why are you even doing that, dude? It was just dramatic, man. But back to where I was talking about.
The driving.
Yeah, just drove it down and we started hitting the ground running in 2022. And it was straight up like emailing breweries, cold calling people, doing the same things, talking to that bird.
That bird.
That's Jack. Yeah,
that bird has been around for like 5 years now.
Yeah, I gotta put it in the podcast, man. Slap it down.
We should.
Let it.
Why don't I go grab it?
Yeah.
So they can at least see what's.
Well, how about this? I'll put it out. I'll turn it off and put it out because we don't need it cawing.
I kind of like it. It reminds me I'm alive.
There you go.
I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I was supposed to take my medication.
I'll get it. That can be our centerpiece.
Yeah. I can't. I'm not squeezing out from that. I'm not that thin. I'm little, but I'm not that thin.
Hey, Every day in the gym, just keep saying it.
Dude, I wish I could be in the gym right now. I still can't lift.
No?
Because I got my arm. They cut into my arm. So, like, I can't. Like, I'll open it up.
That sucks, man.
Turn it off. Quick.
I just got a kidney biopsy and just got cleared for more than 10 pounds.
Hey.
So I'm thrilled about that.
More than 10 pounds.
I can lift.
Oh, yeah, there he is. There's Jack, good old soul. Jack's soul. Oh, I thought he was off.
Hell yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. They need to know what it does, man.
No, show it for the camera.
There.
I swear I turned it off though.
Okay, now it's off. Yeah, that Jack's soul there. This is cheers. Yeah, cheers to Jack's soul.
Cheers to that bad boy.
Ethan's like, I got. Oh, no, I'll get this back. We'll wait. We'll cheers when he gets back.
I'll take a sneaky sip.
Yeah. No, man. Yeah, that dude. The food truck though. That's such an interesting thing to do. Like, so on the aspect of like chef, cook, chef terminology. Is it you? Is it all three of you? Is it who's cooking? Who's coming up with all that? Because it sounds like if I'm understanding, the menu kind of came from Germany.
Yeah.
So the menu was kind of already set.
Totally.
Somewhat.
This is a fun question to answer because I want to give all praise to Lucas and Tyson because this is not my style of cooking at all. Mm-hmm. The reason they brought me into the business was because I've worked in a lot of kitchens, mostly shitty, but I take a real pride in cooking. Mm-hmm. And so
I can say you've cooked dinner for me before. It was really good. It was really good. Like at least twice now. It was delicious.
I appreciate that, man. I guess what, like, for instance, it took my dad forever to like conceptualize this because he's like, I know my son loves to cook and he's great at it, and he started a business that revolves around cooking. And every time you talk to him, he's like, "You're the chef over there. You do all the menu stuff." Realistically, no. Like, this business project with New Berlin, for me, first and foremost, has been like my expression of like business acumen. Like that's been me not doing, like, using my other parts of my brain, essentially. That being said, Lucas and Tyson have the nose and the taste for the product that we're trying to create. Where I come in terms of cooking is going to be like the processes, like in terms of like, and this would probably get like too dense with chefy shit, really. But like, the reason you're not a great cook, you're a good cook, is really like technique. It's how you, like, knowing how a pan works with flame and knowing like what something looks like. And so these technical aspects of cooking, I'm very, very, very familiar and comfortable with. And so that's what I apply to the menu. Like, and we have added items that I've contributed to dramatically, but in terms of the kebab specifically, that's like totally from their taste profile. Like, I've not been to Germany that many times. I don't know what we're trying to accomplish from a taste perspective. They do. And so they're the benchmark on that. I know how to say, this is how you need to take care of this kind of product and how you get the most out of it. You know what I'm trying to say? So like, from a cooking perspective, it's been interesting for me because I'm not like Mr. Head Chef. It's really been like kind of a group effort. Like, they're the taste. I apply a lot of my own particular like technique aspect of it, but yeah, so that's kind of
okay.
General.
Well, no, yeah. So
what was the question? I'm sorry, I had to take a piss.
I was just asking him, kind of like who's quote unquote like the chef, like the cook back there, and it sounds like you've got the expertise, but it's a partnership where they've got the not image, the vision. Yeah, they've got the vision, and you're just trying to fulfill that vision.
Absolutely.
So this interests me a lot, actually, because I've been working in restaurants since I was 16 years old. And I'm 33 now. So this is what I do for a living, actually. So I manage, I'm not going to name the company because I'm not a lawyer and I don't want to deal with any of that shit. But So yeah, this is super interesting for me. So do you have like experience? I'm assuming I heard you said you have experience cooking. Do you have like experience working at other restaurants and stuff like that?
So that's why I got brought in. Essentially, it was like, Tyson was a prep cook for a little bit of time at a French bistro kind of thing in Nashville when we were like teenagers. Didn't do it for a while. Lucas was a long-time server at another restaurant. That's the extent of, I've worked, I don't know, half a dozen, 2 dozen. I really don't know how many kitchens I've worked in, to be honest.
So a lot. So you got plenty of experience. Okay.
And from shitty to chain to all types of, random things.
To mom and pops, to corporate, to whatever.
Yeah, nice. Exactly. Okay. And so like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, like pull up a fryer basket, and like I've seen that. I've seen what something like that kind of knowledge of just being like, yeah, that's
second nature. You don't have to think about it.
I don't have to think about it. Exactly. And it's like, okay, I walk into literally any kitchen, and I'm like, I feel perfectly at home in that space. And they've gotten, a million times from where they started in terms of like, but that's literally why I got a third of the company. That's, without investing my own money, like,
hey man, speaking from experience, you're worth something.
Yeah. It's really, and to be, you've worked in food service. It was really like one of those things where I was like, I'm just fucking, I'm working, and you always, you get the benefits of like, anywhere I've worked, I like to cross train. I know everything in back of house. I do all this stuff, and I don't get paid for it, really,
Right.
And I'm like, I don't really get paid for it now because we like to keep the money in the business and just keep it going.
Good for you.
But I'm at least broke, and something is growing asset wise.
Yeah,
like for me, I was like, I am, and what I was telling him was like,
it's about the brand.
Yeah, and then. Also, like, so much of our like sales, like in terms of like the booking process, that's for the food truck, is a lot of myself. Like, I say I do maybe 90% of it or so, and so like being able to like do something that's not kitchen related and like kind of flex, and flex is a bad way to put it, but more so like stretch those muscles. Like you've been in kitchens, you've been working there. You're like, I know how. Like, if only I had a say in how this was 100%, 100% from the top down.
Yes, sir.
And I found it so rewarding. That's why I really took the job, because I love the fact that I can sit there and be like, if I don't like how this is going, I can change it. Like top down. No corporate overlord or something.
See, good for you, man.
Yeah.
Because since I've only worked in corporate restaurants, right? That's all I've ever had experience with, and I've worked my way up a decent amount.
Sure.
But I still have those corporate overlords, man. Like I still have to follow a certain set of rules. I'm very constricted on what I can.
Even if you have a fantastic idea.
You've got
I've got a great idea. And you're like, we're not going to implement that.
We've got some dude who hasn't worked in a kitchen in 30 years telling us what decisions need to be made.
Exactly. And so
they may have had the experience once, but not, it's gone.
So good for you, man. I envy you for that. That's awesome.
I appreciate that. I will say that I fear that. I don't want to be that guy. And that's...
I don't think you will be.
It's tough, though, because theoretically, if I keep this up long enough, and if this business goes as well as
you could get to that point.
At some point, and I will say to the viewers and you guys at home, like, my body is not, like, I can't do this forever. I can't. I've had a host of injuries. I know my kitchen life is shorter than,
your aspirations.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And so and it's unfeasible if we expand. I can't be 2 places at once. And it's about cultivating a team and building people up and like creating and somewhere along the way, it seems to be consistent where like your corporate overlords, kind of what we're talking about, you get so removed from what you're actually doing that I'm more concerned about like numbers on a spreadsheet and like shareholders than I am about like customer service or like what's it. And I mean, Chipotle got caught on it recently where they're like getting dogged on social media for like their portion sizes, and then they really clamp down. It's like I don't ever want to be in a position where we're directing people. We're not creating something, you know, like I don't want to have to hear about it from customers on social media that we're not doing something good for them, because that's the whole fucking point.
Right, exactly. So,
you know?
yeah, and I don't want to dog on anybody because I don't know what I would do in their position, but
absolutely.
But like I don't like the point that it gets like I enjoy what I do. I like providing a service. I like giving somebody something that they enjoy, like as far as food, the experience, whatever. You know what I mean? But it gets to that point where is it about the profit, you know, or is it about the experience you're giving your customers? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and that's my thing with right. That's my thing with the big corporate restaurant chains and stuff like that. Like to me, it seems like it gets to a point where it's just about profiting. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I appreciate what you do for sure.
I appreciate that. I think honestly, like just to use the platform for a good thing is like to say I think they're real. Like I've worked with so many people who are giving so much to like I'm sure you are. You said you're a manager from what, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're putting in so much of yourself to the business that you're working in, and you're trying to provide a fantastic experience for people that are dining with you. And like that, I've seen that across any restaurant I've worked in, and fewer than I'd like to see those people like you, like myself in those times, not actually cared about and not considered. And so like for instance, with our business, we do have 3 business owners, which is uncommon for food trucks. It means you make less money. I mean, it does. Like, so when you're small, your restaurant margins are thin.
Sure.
And the profits are being spread / put back into the business between 3 people. I mean, that's why we're living 6 deep in a house. You know, like these are the things that like, you know, sacrifice a fuck ton.
Hey, Apple started in a garage, right?
Exactly. But I will say that it's like the mindset
it's
and like
garage.
what I value so
Still
much
a garage.
is like.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, man.
But what I want to get like we're hiring people right now. We're hiring for, and I like my thing is like, look, I can't promise you like the most money that you can ever get. I can promise you that you will be heard and that we can like you are coming before us. Like your paycheck, if you need like, you know, I can do that. You know, like we have a guy who's been with us for like about a year and a half, and he quit his job and was waiting to kind of like be basically like second in command behind like the ownership for Reunion to open up. And like in January, we like gave him just like $800, just like, here, you didn't work at all while we're setting all this shit up. $800. It's easy to sit there and be like, I want more money, but I haven't necessarily sat there with a lot of money.
Hey man, like in my opinion, the money will come.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you give enough effort and time and dedication into something, like it's gonna come back to you.
Absolutely.
You know?
And you're building the passion up front.
Yeah.
You're building people who want to be there, people who want to do that job, people who are invested in it for more than just money, because there's no money to be had at the moment. Like it's just starting. So that's good to build the backbone crew. And then when you start expanding, you know you've got trustworthy and reliable individuals starting. I think that's a lot of issues that corporate jobs have is they've got the money. People are only there for the money. And so that breeds a lot of punch in, punch out, not my problem. I don't care. I just want to get the paycheck.
That's exactly the struggle, man.
And so then it's just different. And not to say that, you know, it couldn't get to that point. I don't think it. I think you guys have very clearly got your goals in mind.
Sure.
Through no part of your own will it get to that point. And it sounds like with these people who are this dudes is we're waiting in anticipation to work for you like that. So he's chomping at the bit. He's ready. He's motivated.
Yeah.
So you've got that. You've started that growth there.
And I will say that's been it's cool that you point that out, because we're in the process of hiring 4 new people, and it's all people that have come to us. Mm-hmm. And like something
there you go. See, that's the thing. Like you don't want to you don't want to be begging for it, right? You don't want to go out searching for it. You want people to come to you.
Yeah.
That's how you see. I love that. That's awesome, man. And
that's been so nice, because you hear, especially from the boomers, but like no shade to them. But you hear a lot about it. They're like, nobody wants to work. I'm like, motherfuckers definitely want to work, dude.
Oh, 100% they do.
They just, and I like, because for me, like just to like, I guess I don't want to speak for anybody else, but like it's nice to feel those people coming to us. But like when I got the opportunity to be a part of the business, I was motivated by the idea that like surely like, I can make money or whatever. But like for the first year we did this, I did $0 for a year. I moved back in with my dad. I was working like crazy when I was waking up, like typing notes, like Fear Factor. It was like, I mean, dude, I'm eating worms every day for free. Like,
I ain't even on the show.
Yeah, I'm not even getting paid. Joe Rogan's not even slapping my butt and saying like, man, like I love you, dog. You're so impressive. Like no, like and the thing was too is like everybody was like in terms of like they're like, you're crazy. Like you're just, it's another one of your schemes.
It's not gonna work, dude. Like what?
Yeah, but it's like that fucking motivation. It wasn't so much that I wanted to get money. It was like someone gave me the opportunity to like be heard and like do something and like be part of something. And I think that's what I really like want to continuously funnel into, like, because like, I've been that guy that has a good idea at the corporate restaurant and and just like you're just like, fuck it. Like, I mean, I have a great idea there. Like,
I just need my shot, man.
Yeah, I need to go over my manager's head to even get that pass. And like, I just really want to make sure that like cooks that we hire, like that's been my main thing, is like cooks that we hire are heard, seen, appreciated, because there's a lot of smart people. And that's where you get your best kitchens at too, is like guys that come in there, guys and gals, of course, but come in there and it's the path of least resistance. You will design a process, they'll make it 10 times better. And if you're not listening, you don't pick up that phone and hear them, like you're shit out of luck. Like I want to know what that cook's saying, because he's making that burrito or whatever, and he's going to be like, we should do this differently. It'll save time, save money, blah, blah, blah. He should have a direct call, and like, I just want to shake that paradigm up, like if I can.
Yeah,
at least in my business. That's all I can do. But like,
Cheers to open leadership at a business.
I mean, that's how it has to be, man. I mean, like you can't assume you know best and better than anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to take suggestions and input from people under you, man. You have to do that. You can't assume that you know the best just because you've been there and you're in charge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to be able to take other people's perspectives and opinions.
It's what I really like about Anthony.
That makes a good leader. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. People being willing to be like, I don't know everything.
Right.
I'm just a guy, you know?
Yes, sir. Yep. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Right into what we didn't tell them to say that. That's what we're doing with the podcast. We're just guys.
We're just two dudes. Yeah.
Two bros.
Yep.
Chilling in not a hot tub. We're not quite 5 feet
Sometimes
apart.
Hot tub.
Yeah. wait. Hold on. Can we get a hot tub?
I'll check the budget.
All right.
Hot tub coming summer 2027.
Put it on the credit card.
Put it on the credit card. Oh man. Yeah, no, man. That is so interesting to think about that, because I don't come from that corporate world of I've worked in a restaurant, but it was brief and it was like one, and it was I wasn't there to pick up anything.
So imagine, like, as far as corporate restaurants go, imagine
Dragons, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, like, imagine like any other corporation. Imagine like any like Walmart or anything like that, But on top of that, you're trying to provide a service to the guests too, to your customers. You know what I mean? Like so imagine you're trying to please like your bosses. You're also trying to please the people coming in, like and a lot of people who work in a restaurant, they're passionate about what they do. They enjoy the fact that they're providing a service, and they're proud of it. You know what I mean? And in corporate world, you got all sorts of different stuff that you're trying to do to please whoever you're trying to please. You know what I mean? And it's so much, dude.
And sometimes those two interests, the interests of the customer and the interests of like the shareholders or whoever the hell is like directing corporate, are at odds, right?
Yes, yeah.
You're like I'm dealing with like waste situations coming down from the top, and they're like, you need to not waste. I'm like, okay, look, the people on the ground, as real people do, and like sincerely fuck up. Like it is so easy to like misread a ticket, and then you're like, let me comp that for you. Let me give you that.
Exactly.
And then waste comes down, and you're like, this should be anticipated by you guys. You're theoretically smarter than us.
Sure. Yeah. It gets to the point where they're so worried about your bottom line that any little small mistake you make, is such a big deal, to where like you're so afraid to make any sort of mistake to where you can't please anybody. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like and it's crazy because like you can't build a business like that. You can't, give the service that you're trying to give with that. You're so stressed about everything. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That you don't even feel like a person trying to provide a service to anybody anymore.
You're like, I'm strict on all these things. And that's what I want to.
It's more. It turns into like it's more like just a transaction than it is like somebody trying to come in and have a good experience and have a good meal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think and maybe it'll get me canceled in a lot of ways, but like just because I came up with this idea and was a part of it from the ground, I think a lot of times we get sucked into, like, for instance, like maybe corporate guys sitting there being like, oh, I don't do much during the day other than look at these spreadsheets and tell somebody else three levels down what to do. That bottom line becomes their only focus. You're running a restaurant, and like the same, it doesn't cross their mind of like, how's the customer appreciating this? Like, if I'm telling the manager not to caretake properly, and I think it's because they like margins are thin in food. It is a thing because like customers don't want to pay crazy amounts of money, and businesses want to make money. When you grow, it's the guys at the top being like, hey, like I'm just trying to line my pockets, and it's like, look, I'd be happy if my business was a national chain and I made $100,000 a year.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
that's a decent living.
I think that is something maybe across all businesses that might be interesting to say, but just saying like, theoretically, yeah, I could do this situation where I'm lining my pockets and like, but like that call that you're getting being like, yo, don't fucking comp them because that's too much. We're wasting a lot on wings. You shouldn't have to do that if the top is not looking to take too much profit.
Right. Exactly. That's what separates. That's why I appreciate like small businesses, especially small like mom and pop restaurants like that. You know what I mean? Because they're not that much. They're worried more about the experience that they're giving people than they are about the money that they're making.
I mean, we all have,
and that's what I feel like is most important when you're running a restaurant. You know what I mean? People don't come in there like. It's not McDonald's, you know what I mean? Like McDonald's, what you're going in for, you know what you're going to get. If it's shitty, you shouldn't have gone to McDonald's. You know what I mean? I'm not cancel me for that, whatever. I'm not trying to throw any shade on McDonald's or whatever. It's just a good example, but it's what sets the people who really are passionate about what they're doing apart from the people who are just trying to make some money. You know what I mean? And it's just different.
We've all been customers. We all have stories where you go to a restaurant and you have a really, really great experience because someone messed up and then they compensated you and you're like, wow, I really respect that and I'll come back here. Like, that is something that it seems like from what you're saying, the shareholders don't appreciate. Like they don't appreciate the willingness of customers to come back to that location because they had a good experience with a manager or a server or someone like that. It seems like, and this is outsider.
No, you're on it,
like,
dude. Keep
like,
going.
It seems like this is from outside bubble. I'm looking in. It seems like they misunderstand the return customer profit they're getting, and how if they because I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty petty. If I went to a place and had horrible service, I'd be like, I'm not coming back here. Screw this. Like, maybe that's just me, but I feel like a good chunk of the population is like, if I don't get good service, I'm not coming back. Doesn't matter if the food was meh or great. If I have a great service, that compensates for the food not being amazing. But so I guess what this really is it comes down to like the atmosphere in which the employees, the servers, the management makes the establishment.
100%.
So it's a balancing act. You've got to obviously balance the budget and all that. You have to do that. You can't run a business without doing that stuff. But at the same time, you got to understand how detrimental is it to the business if we're just focusing on the bottom line and not focusing on customers, because customers is what makes you the money.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're going to have those people who always come to X location. They always go there because Tuesday you've got half off drinks or whatever. Like, you'll always have those regulars that come there. But then you've got the people who come up, have a bad experience, and never again step foot in a chain or restaurant.
Yeah. See, my thing is like working in just corporate restaurants for almost 2 decades now. Is like at this point I feel more like a robot than I do like somebody trying to provide a service, that I was passionate about at one time. You know what I mean? And I don't like that. And it's a hard thing to get out of when you're working at, in a big corporation,
Yeah.
You're getting
Braden,
pressure from both sides.
So once you get like 3 or 4 chains nationally and like you start getting really big and blow up.
I'm serious.
All I'm saying is
okay.
all I'm saying is that I have a very big appreciation for people who care more about the service they're providing than they do the money that they're making.
Well, I think that like boils down to like the big fat point of it is like, for instance, like we've from the jump designed the food that we make to be like a quick service food. Like this could be in New Berlin, could be in an airport. It could be in a mall. It could be like a Chipotle in terms of like how the product is made. The thing that I think people are always, like quality, of course, first and foremost, provide a quality service. That we're not, but you have people like running restaurants talking about being like, I own the restaurant. I came up with the idea. And maybe this is where I think we're disruptors. I'm not in this to be a gojillionaire, like Forrest Gump might say, man. Like I'm really not like the whole point here is like, look, if say we got a business and it does $100 million a year, like, and I know Chipotle is significantly higher, but it's like if the CEO is taking $30 million as his
it's so high because they're giving me half the beef.
What if he made $1 million and actually distributed that through the company? Because like all I hear about from companies is like the bones are weak, like all this stuff, and it's like it is tough to live in America doing your thing and like paying for your bills. But it's like, look, I'm a business owner, and that gives me a lot of credit with a lot of people. They're like, oh man, and it's like it's great. I live with 6 people,
so
and, and like I make sacrifices in my life. I'm gonna sit there till the day I die. Like I don't need to be, like I don't need an employee of mine in 15 years to be like, that guy's at the country club and I'm in the shit house. I want to be on a par. I need to be able to live.
So yeah, well, hey, and
that bottom. I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to
go ahead.
Really hammer it home. It's like, if you work for us, you make the same as us, pretty much.
So,
and I don't want that to really change dramatically. If we sell the business and I get some money off of it, fantastic. But I don't want to get to this point where we're like, can the business run better? Will the service, like you said, like can the experience still be good? The product still be good? I don't need a fucking bunch of money and like stash it away. Like I just need a livable income, and then all the money that would be going to some type of person trying to live $30 million a year or whatever. I don't need, I mean, I'd love it, but like, I don't, you know.
The feeling of ownership, it compensates.
It does compensate some, but
well, I'm saying like, if you have a livable, I'm just saying you, not people. Sounds like if you're getting a livable wage, you're okay with that because you have the pride and the, basically the pride of owning that, and you started that, you own that, and you're being fair to your employees. So all that pays in. So it's like you're like, I don't need to be that billionaire CEO, whatever, because I get a lot of my worth from knowing I started something, created something, and I'm providing for these employees to have a livable wage. So I don't need to be like that.
And I will say, I don't mean to, but I will say that it's not like a 1-to-1. It's like, of course, like you want to squeeze it's so natural to be like, I just want to like make sure I get mine, you know? And like it is
human nature almost.
It's I want to say that like that process of being like, I choose my employees over my, like, cause we could have taken that $800 we gave Neil last month and gave it to ourselves. Didn't do, you know, like things like that. It's like, I would have loved that. You know, it made my life easier, like personally, but it's like just that thought process. And I think that's not what corporate America does. That's not what like we we're taught to be like hoard wealth and like do things. And I like, look, I'm not shading anybody that does that, but just saying like for me personally, like coming from being broke, and I was broke when I started this business, and I'm better off now with the business, and I still do the same thing, like put the employees' pay ahead of mine. So it's hard for me to sit there and be like, you know, I want to do everything I can to make sure that if we continue to grow as a business, I'm never going to be that way.
Yeah,
you know
what
I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%, and I love that. And I just want to make it clear, like I'm not trying to bash any CEOs or anything. Like everybody, I just like the idea of working hard for what you get, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I hope you get to where you want to be, you know, and I hope that you're successful and everything. I just don't like when you're dealing with like food and like a restaurant and stuff. Like I just don't like how a lot of corporate places that I've worked for or seen or like gone to or anything, like they kind of, it seems like it's more of just a transaction than it is, you know, the experience.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's all I was trying to get at, you know?
No, but that's so valuable because
you know,
that's exactly what I'm trying to make is like, there is a world where you're comfortable as a corporate employee and the owners are.
Do you really need that fifth yacht?
Yeah, you know, like the extra,
exactly.
like where you're like, okay, like that's kind of my point is like I think it ties into what your point was like, I'm not going to return it. Like that's why Chick-fil-A is fantastic to go to. They really do a great job of like taking care of their employees. Like you feel compensated for the work you do, and if you're doing a great job, you get paid for a great job. And it's like that. It's so funny because like at the same time, like it loses itself with money.
Sure.
You know, but it's possible, you know, it's totally possible.
It is.
It's not, it requires some self-regulation of some like greed. Maybe,
exactly. Right.
You know?
Where do you draw that line?
Yeah.
To where like how much money you're bringing in for yourself to where how much money you're giving out to your people.
So,
you know?
Ethan, is that so? One thing I want to say is backtrack a little bit to the CEOs versus the small business, and you're clearly small business right now.
Hold that thought. So I just poured us some Sazerac rye.
Sazerac rye.
So this is the first ever rye that was ever made. Just for the record.
First ever rye that was made.
Yes.
And we have the original bottle.
No, this is the first ever. Like this is a $1 million bottle here, the first ever
Yeah.
rye. No, I'm just kidding. But this brand, this brand
I'll
is
just be like, wait,
is
let me spit it back out.
Braden. No, Braden spits it back out. He's like, I'm gonna sell this for $1 million.
Can we get it back in the bottle?
Yeah.
no, but this
Is
is
high school where we just fill it with water and be like, sell it?
this is the first rye that was distilled.
So
Should I
real
say.
quick,
Yeah.
speaking of expensive liqueur, where is it? Is it back there?
I don't know what you're looking for.
I'm looking for something very specific.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I need more than that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what?
Thanks,
you can.
boss.
I'm looking for something very specific. I don't see it back here. I don't think your dad has it on or behind the bar.
If it's that expensive, it's probably in a safe
Oh,
somewhere.
it's like $400,
it's under
$500 a
Matt's
bottle.
pillow. He's just
right.
sleeping.
He's sleeping with it.
Linda wakes up. And he's like, "Yo, what?
Don't touch that.
I don't even let my wife see it."
It's so I don't see it under the bar. I don't see it over the bar. It's somewhere. I know your dad has one because I have two of it. Bacardi 151.
Oh God!
Oh,
I knew
okay.
that's where you were going. Here, it's right here. Here.
No. So it's empty. But
Very
he's got a
fancy.
full liter bottle of it.
Oh, it's down there.
It's somewhere.
It's worth like $300.
No, 500.
No shit.
It's 500 because I have two of them right now.
They're not
Oh
making it
wow!
anymore?
No, they don't.
They stopped in 2016.
I didn't realize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I came to visit, and I just turned 21. I came to visit.
that. Fire in your mouth.
Have you ever had it?
Oh yeah.
It's disgusting.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it. I can shoot it with no face, nothing. I love Bacardi.
Well, I always knew you were a psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
in college, my drink of choice was I would get Bacardi 151 when I was underage, allegedly. I'd have people buy me alcohol, allegedly. And I'd always have them get the Bacardi 151 because I was like, well, if I can only get this every so often, I might as well get something that I'll count. And this
it
is
up.
151 proof, so it'll last me a while. So I would take the 12-ounce bottles of Coke, drink half, and then fill half with Bacardi 151, go out. It was a fantastic night.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
But yeah, so when I was down here, I turned 21, came down here. I was talking to your dad about it, and I was like, yeah, all this stuff. And he goes, it's like, what? They don't make it anymore? Or we looked it up, and I'm like, oh my God, they don't make it anymore. He goes, what? And so we rushed to the liquor store to go see, and they had just a couple, like 3 or 4 bottles left, and we bought them of the liters. And then slowly over the years, over the past
You
nine
can't drink
years,
them fast, man. That's
no,
gonna,
but
No,
we haven't opened. But it's like
You're out of there.
500. It's like $500
dude.
where each bottle. It's
Is that for a liter?
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, one
a
liter about
liter,
500.
A liter for $500.
Yeah,
For something that costs you probably $30.
Oh yeah. Oh, $32.
To be
Yeah.
fair,
$32.95.
that'll get you that like bang for your buck.
Oh, it was. That's
I mean,
why.
yeah.
That's why I got it under
Exactly.
age,
Yeah.
allegedly.
You're like, I can take
because
one shot and be good
Yeah,
for the
I was
night.
like
I'm
because
getting hammered,
I was like
dude.
if I'm at a limited supply where I don't know where my next supply is coming, my next hookup's coming in, I'm gonna make sure I've got plenty to continue on.
Exactly.
'Cause I'll never forget.
No, you got
I'll
to stay
never
stocked up,
forget
dude, because you don't know when your plug's gonna run dry.
Test-
you
Is
know?
this 151 stomped on or what?
No, because I remember because I would be like I said it was Brianna and then Tessie, like all of them. I'd be like, hey,
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Hey, can you go get me some alcohol? I'd be like, hey, can you go get some alcohol? Go get me some alcohol, allegedly. And
Yeah, right.
and they were
Any
like,
cops watching.
they were like, yeah, what do you want? And I was
It's all
like,
alleged. We
didn't
can I
do
get
that.
some 151? They're like, really? You want 151? You don't want like Pirate Bay or something? And I was like, or Parrot Bay or whatever. I was like, no, I want the 151. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, because I know. They're like, okay, and they like didn't want to buy it, but I'm telling you, I made it last. That shit lasted me like.
As you should.
Yeah, right.
If someone's like, yeah, bro, I just killed a fifth of 151,
Yeah.
I'm like, you're either in the hospital or
Right.
like in cuffs
No,
or like
no.
in my guts with a knife.
No,
Right.
no,
Like, you
Braden,
good,
I have
bro?
a fantastic story with his dad getting wasted off 151. It was the funniest thing. You weren't there.
I know I wasn't.
No,
because I don't remember it.
You need to stay
no,
well away from
that
your
doesn't
dad
mean
if he's
that doesn't
on
mean you
151.
weren't there. It doesn't mean you weren't there just because you don't remember it.
Right.
Yeah, touche.
So we had his 150 because he's got a small little like 151 thing that still has a little bit left. That's empty. There's one on the bar that still has a little bit left. So Matt was telling us how way back in the ye olden times, they
As
used
he
to
does.
spit fire with 151, and we were like, bullshit. No, you don't. He's like, yeah, you can spit fire 151. So we'd all been drinking. This was a couple years ago. before we had responsibilities of children. So so Leah and I were both drinking, and so we go out there and we're standing outside right out here, and Matt's like, all right, I'm gonna Spitfire. I'm gonna show you. We're like, okay, Matt. So he takes a swig of 151, and for some reason he'd given Leah the lighter. He's like, here, hold this, light it for me. Takes a swig. First off, I'm like, why don't you just hold the lighter? You're way more in control, because exactly what you expect happens. Leah's sitting there and he's holding 151 in his mouth.
Good Lord.
And she's flicking the lighter, and she can't light it. She can't light the lighter.
Oh,
so he's sitting there like light it, and she's just like flicking. She's laughing. It's not lighting. So what does he do? Swallows it. He's like, "What are you doing?" She goes, "I can't light it. He goes, "Here." Takes the lighter, lights it in one try, hands it back. Then hands it back to her. Takes another shot. Takes another swig, and he's sitting there. Second time, can't light it, and he's just sitting there like.
He didn't want to grab it himself.
I know. So he takes another swig. So then on the third time's the charm, he finally gets it. He spits a huge cloud, but he took 2 swigs of 151 back to back.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, Matt, why didn't you spit that out? He goes, you kidding me? That shit's $400. I'm not spitting that out. I was like, all right, that's fair.
Oh, that's my dad for you. You didn't record that? You didn't record?
I know. I should have.
Hey, my god!
Honestly, next time I come over, reenact.
Oh, we reenact.
We have to.
I gotta see it live.
That's expensive. I don't know if we can react with 151.
We'll get some PGA out here.
Yeah.
A little pure grain alcohol.
Dude, it was so funny though, because he just took 2 swigs.
I'll invest in that.
Yeah, dude.
How much is left in a little bottle?
That's viral right
I'm
there.
paying $75.
How much is left?
That's
in
a
the
viral
bottle?
video.
The red cap behind you. How much is left in that?
Oh, back there?
Yeah, at the back there. Don't knock anything off. Oh, there's a decent amount left.
That's a good bit.
Oh, there's plenty.
That's fireable.
Yeah,
there's plenty.
This is Puerto Rican rum, 151. Warning: flammable. See back label.
Okay, so
flammable liquid. Do not use this product for flaming dishes or drinks. All 151 proof rum may flare up and continue to burn when ignited. Bro, we did flaming shots with this shit.
So anybody listening, make sure you stay tuned for the next episode we have with Braden, because we're gonna be spitting fire.
Next week, catch us up.
Next time on the Inquiry Theory, will Braden
fire
be able to
breathing
spit 151?
Matt's gonna spit fire all over me. It'd be great fire. It'd be the best fire you've ever seen.
It'll be fantastic.
We have the best fire, the hottest
American
fire.
flames.
No. Puerto Rican flames in America, the best
Puerto
flame.
Rico's still America.
Yeah, shit, well.
They keep taking it from us, but we claimed it.
They're a trash country. They're a trash heap. Thank you, Tony Hinchcliffe.
Great relationship with Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Domestic relations, fantastic. They are in flames, but only liquid.
Dude, I'm telling you, yeah.
Okay, well, no, like for real though, we have to do this now.
Oh God,
we have to.
Your dad's gonna be so pissed.
We could do it right now.
Chat, do you want to see us take a shot at 151?
Chat. Let me see in the chat below.
Yeah. Show us, please.
I would say I'll do a shot right now and show you that I don't cringe.
100%. I gotta see it.
Okay, give me one of the shot. Give me the Jack Daniel's shot glass over there.
I'm gonna set it on fire.
No, you're not gonna set it on fire. I'm not.
No, no.
No, give me the Jack Daniel's
You're
shot
too
glass.
reckless. You're a crazy guy.
There's
not that one.
You can't be reckless enough, sir.
That's
Can
crap.
I put it on fire?
Fine, I got one. Not coordinated at all over here.
What are you talking about? Why you asking me for a glass?
We're all doing
all right. No. Ready?
No, you can't. No.
Oh, we're all doing one. Your dad's gonna be pissed.
Well, you started it.
Yeah,
that's true.
I don't need that much.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a little bit.
This podcast is now about drinking $400 hammers.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Now that I think about it, this shot's like well over $10 at least.
You hear that? We're famous.
We're bougie. Come on, Logan Paul. Let's see you do this shit.
And after this they bring back 151 and the bottle goes back down to $30.
Dude, I literally have it like saved in Google where it's like show me news about 151, and if I see them going 151 to be recontinued, sell
right now.
I'm like, yo, I'll chase this with the fucking rye whiskey.
No, okay. For everyone,
seriously though,
pay attention to
like
this shit. See who cringes, see who doesn't. We'll see.
My chaser is an 80 proof whiskey.
I don't need a chaser.
You poured a sexy shot. Holy shit.
Yep. That's just disgusting, isn't it?
Not even phased. Let's fucking go.
No, that's just gross.
No, it is delicious.
That is not good.
That's delicious.
No, it's not.
I didn't react at all.
Doesn't mean it's delicious.
It is to me. Reminds
Look
me
at
of college.
him. Look at Braden. That's. He can't talk yet.
This is why we didn't do it at the
Wait
beginning.
for it.
Oh.
There it is.
Do you feel all 151 proofs?
Each one.
Clip that.
Oh shit! That's our short right there.
Yeah.
God damn.
That's disgusting, isn't it?
I think it's great.
Now imagine.
You're a psycho.
Exactly. Thank you. Psychopath. Oh my
That was
god.
good.
That's not good at all. There's nothing good about it. It's disgusting. Yeah. We should have set it on fire.
Oh, that would have made it better.
It truly does taste like
Gasoline.
fuel.
Ass. Yeah.
Whoa, hang on. Fuel.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not. It's not a petroleum product, bro. Take gas out of your mouth.
Hey,
Holy
bro, I got this
shit.
bottle of 151.
No,
it's
it's not
basically
good.
petroleum-based. U.S. government wants to know your location.
God damn.
Well, they can
bro.
find it now.
I had like easily a 2-minute recovery time. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad. Yeah.
That was fine.
That's why they discontinued it.
So just for anyone watching at home, he has a young child. We're worried about his care because his dad can drink 151
Like it's nothing.
like an animal.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just kidding. He's much more responsible than me.
He's a great father.
Yeah.
Speaking from yeah.
If Leah's watching, fantastic.
She
dad.
doesn't watch this.
Yeah.
Don't kid yourself.
What?
Your wife doesn't watch your podcast?
No.
Oh.
What do you mean? Your sister doesn't watch the podcast?
My girlfriend does.
watches the podcast.
Hey,
my
there we go.
fiancé.
Oh,
Yeah,
fiancé.
I forget about that.
I forget about that.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
you don't
Y'all
get a
are
ring.
engaged?
Oh yeah.
Congratulations, dude.
Yeah, they don't
Thank
get.
you.
We don't get rings as guys till it's like the
They
deal's
don't.
done.
They don't put a ring on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
They
When
don't
did that
respect
happen?
us.
November.
Very, very nice, man.
I will say it's been the fucking most annoying thing transitioning from like my girlfriend. And then I'll already say that 99.9% of the time. I'll be like, yeah, my girlfriend was doing that the other day. And then like later in the conversation, I remember.
I'm like, oh, fuck.
And then I'm like, no. My fiance.
Yeah, so I used the wrong label. I'm sorry. Here.
And then they're like, get out of our fucking massage parlor. And
You're like, I don't get it. That's awesome, man.
And
though.
then I put my pants on it.
Yeah, it's fine.
It
Oh,
all
shit.
changes dramatically when I say that.
Oh, you're funny. That was good. That was
Yeah.
good. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Dude, oh my god.
That's a good one. That's congratulations, though,
Yeah,
dude.
thanks,
yeah.
man.
I'm
Thanks,
I'm hoping to be not far behind you. That's awesome.
I'm thinking about inviting you guys. Like,
I love to come. I love
we'll
weddings.
see how these numbers do.
yeah.
We'll see how these numbers do.
If podcast is good,
Braden's like, if
Welcome to the wedding.
we post this and it does good, all right. If you guys bring at least 10 people to New Berlin.
Well, I'll consider inviting you.
dude, this podcast needs to go crazy.
We're gonna go crazy.
I believe it. I believe in it so hard. I know
We're-
we're still
we're-
on air, but
we're-
we can always edit this out. But
No, we
like,
don't have to edit anything out.
No, there's no we in this editing.
Hey,
there's
we're
an
not-
I in
no,
this
we're-
editing.
We're gonna
I will edit this out.
we're gonna go crazy only because Joe Rogan's getting old.
Damn.
Said it.
Yeah, but he's gonna live forever. He does all that red light therapy.
Cancel
and-
us for that. Whatever.
Yeah. No, for real though. For real. I don't
Hey,
know why I
as
said
long
that.
as you guys keep having interesting people like me, come on.
Yes.
Braden's like, I'm a little partial. I think I'm pretty interesting.
What? Hey, will you come back?
All right, I'll come back anytime you want, man.
Love it. All right.
Absolutely, man.
We got a regular.
Well,
Man.
you hear to hear, folks. First, or whatever.
Heard it here.
You heard it here.
That's the 151
folks.
talking.
You heard
that
it
is
here.
that is exactly the 151
Someone
talking.
cannot handle their 151. It's
I
almost
can't.
like you
I'm
didn't drink this in college.
Sorry, I'm not a psychopath.
Yeah.
Who can handle
Apology,
151
you're
You're
accepted.
low key weird for that. dude.
Loki.
Thank
Low-key
you.
weird
I would
for
be
that.
in the
You're
Uber
low-key
drinking
weird.
that shit.
Look,
I'd be in the
look,
Uber
look,
headed
look,
to the
I don't
party
know much
drinking
about
151.
Ethan, but I know you've been to the Clink.
Hey, I have.
And I've been on heroin, and you're the guy that says
Hey.
that's not a problem.
The guy,
you're weird.
The guy who's
You're
the
weird.
guy who's
Thank
never
you.
done
You're weird.
the guy who's never done any drug in his
Yeah.
life, never even done pot, never
Exactly.
done anything.
Thank you.
Is
Exactly.
the weird one.
Oh my God! And I've snorted meth, and you're weird.
Yeah.
Yes.
How does that
Thank
work?
you.
One of the few times, we get to
Yes.
sit there and say,
You're the weird
"You're
one.
the weird one.
Yes.
You're the weird one."
Fist bump.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Psycho.
I'm sorry, I have refined taste.
I'm serious.
I
151 to the face.
I enjoy $500
For our
liquor.
richer listeners.
And let me apologize to my mother and my dad for saying that on air. I've never snorted meth.
Bro goes back to highlight something someone
Gosh.
probably glossed over.
He's allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Allegedly. God, terrible drug. Terrible drug.
Oh, it's awful. It's so bad.
terrible.
it's-
Bro.
it's crazy.
I love the way
Bro,
it keeps
I
me up
can
there.
Oh, yeah, it's
talk.
awesome, though.
I can talk
But it's
so
so
much.
bad.
Dude, I
but
can
it's
talk,
awesome.
I can talk so much drugs.
No, you can't.
That's another podcast.
That's
Yeah.
a completely
That is
different
another
podcast.
You want to? Me and Ethan, 2 hours from now, we're going to be talking drugs.
Yep.
We're talking
Yep.
getting high.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Allegedly.
Dude,
Allegedly.
allegedly, I've been high as shit, dude.
Yeah, never though.
Never.
But allegedly, maybe.
Unironically, allegedly, nah. Yeah, I've been high.
That's the 151 talking.
Yeah. Bro.
Anyways.
151.
Yeah. Oof.
We still have a whole glass of liquor to finish.
Let's keep talking.
Yeah,
dude.
no,
I'm
yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
I have.
So Braden, what do you do to relax? Because you're probably a pretty busy guy with the food truck and the restaurant now. I mean, you're probably pretty stressed out. What do you like? How do you chill? Because like in my head, so let me set the ground first, real quick.
Sure.
As a guy who works 9 to 5, I'm the only one in this group that has a solid or 8 to 5. Like I work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. I'm in the same location, same hours. The only time I ever go over is if we're super busy, and that's that. So I never thought I'd be one of those. I don't have a suit or anything, but I never thought I'd be in that almost office job, and I'm in that now. So like being in that field, my routine is very structured. And I don't have a lot of responsibility outside of that work. Besides, once I'm off of those hours, I'm done. I'm clocked out. So what is it like being not only operating, but like being part owner, operating, and not just a food truck, but also a restaurant location now? Like how do you unwind? Because I imagine owning and operating that stuff, you don't get to just 5 o'clock rolls around, I'm done, clock out. Like you take that home with you. Like how do you relax and chill, and how do you keep it from overwhelming you?
That's a good question. That's
Great
a
question.
Really, and honestly, was taking a shower today and thought that, in essence, something like that would come across. I will say that what I do, massive ups, massive downs. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I mean, if I could hold it to some type of thing that you love, the viewers might know, it's like holding a stock, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, it's like when the price goes up, you feel great. And when the price goes down, you feel bad, even if you're comfortable with like the overall trajectory of it.
Yep.
Because like truthfully, like those moments where I'm like, I'm waking up and I'm sweating. I'm sweating because I'm like, my boy just invested all this money into this, and I need to make sure it makes money. Like, that's become less of a. It's become more. That's a tough one. It's become more normal, if I would say that. Like, I mean, I'm sure you as management, like when you get into managing, you're like,
you got to be perfect.
I'm super stressed.
Yeah, you got to be perfect.
I'm worried about it. And then like
Perfectionist,
10 months into managing, you're like, I know where to let shit slide, And like that really does. I will say for like, I'm never off. 0 time off. Like
100%.
Sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to answer emails today. I do it. You heard it here live. Like it just, you have to. And the lead time on emails seems, I guess, like, I get, the corporate world can dramatically shift. I've never been a corporate guy, so I don't really know. But I try and get back to people within 3 days. But I'm like, it's been some sort of learning curve. Like when I first started, I was like, I'm getting our name out here. Like I'm like glued to my
did you have to avoid burnout then when you're working that hard?
I didn't. I just
you just burned out.
Just did it. And like I'm just in the phase of things. Frankly, medical condition wise, one gratitude or silver lining situation with it is that like it gives me somewhat of an excuse over the past couple months. Like I've been grinding super hard for our business for like 4 years, and I can take some excuses, but it is hard. But I will say, like when your main question is saying, what do you do to relax? I drink. Be honest.
All right.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Ethan, stop.
Oh my God.
Let's not kid ourselves here. This isn't a kids podcast.
No, it's not.
I mean, dude, I'm just
drink.
a man. I'm just a man, and I fucking drink.
So
No,
hang
like
on.
it's like I'm in the same boat as you, man. Like to relax, I drink. I rely on my girl. Like that's it, man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Weirdos.
That's it. Dude.
I work out.
Okay, well,
That's a good one.
Do you go out to eat?
No, almost never.
You sometimes do.
Sometimes.
You're welcome.
What do you mean you're welcome?
You're welcome. I don't know. Like it's.
I don't know.
It's a different level of stress that you have to deal with.
So
Am I wrong?
I think at least what I know about you outside of here, your job has some level of consistency.
Yes, the consistency makes me a little easier between your guys' jobs.
Well, it makes everybody easier.
I couldn't, if you were to be like, hey, you're having a kid, I'd be like, where do they
what you're gonna
fit
say.
in? Where do they even go? Like, because generally...
Usually in the crib if they're misbehaving, but
They
them.
Classic? Yeah.
My bad.
shut up.
No, but I'm
He
serious,
can't
man.
talk
I'm
yet,
like,
so we can't say he. So
You're right.
No,
You're right.
I'm like, sure, like
You should be able to talk.
I would try to structure my life around it, but like generally, like the way my life works right now is like, you see it. I like if I'm doing nothing, I'm just gonna fucking hop on RuneScape. And yeah, gotta shout out my fucking comfort thing, but just like I'm just like dead on the couch. I don't.
RuneScape or
Exactly.
old school RuneScape?
Old school
Yeah.
RuneScape.
You have to be able to shut it off. You know what I mean? You have to be able to. It's especially if you're passionate about what you're doing. You have to. It's a skill, honestly, to be able to like separate yourself from what you're doing.
Absolutely is. And I will say this, and this is like I think something that I would love to hear talked about more is like legitimately like, as a lot of people are, I'm lazy. Like I want to do what I want to do.
See,
and I want I think there's this stigma associated with like entrepreneurs, especially on podcasts, where they're like, I wake up at 5 a.m. I have 3 days in one day. I do all this shit right. Like I do not do all shit right at all, man.
nobody does.
Yeah, and like look, I run a good business, and sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I need to do so much booking. I need to email all these people today, and I've fucking sat there and like missed emails. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I guess I just don't want, like, I think the gatekeeping of that is so frustrating to me. Like, I look like it's unreasonable to be like, I'm just going to wake up tomorrow, start a business, and then just be this psycho that does everything perfectly all the time.
Right.
When I'm not on, I will send the email. I know what emails matter and what don't, you know what I mean? And I'm like that, like the very important things that are going to make or break business.
Sure.
But like sometimes you can just like take the day off. You can do that. And it's so easy, I think, for people to get caught up, especially if you're working. Like I noticed it with my fiance Michaela. Like she's coming home and she just consumed. Like, I don't like to talk. And I won't say it in a way where, like, I think talking about work is good. But if I meet someone, my, like, conversation strategy is, like, what'd you do for fun? Like, what'd you dream about? I don't know. Like, I want to hear everything else other than, like, what work was like.
Right.
If we're talking business and we're like, hey, let's come up with a cool idea, you know, whatever, or we're talking how to improve something, that's a different story. But just like, how's work? That feels so like
redundant.
Yeah,
right.
I know. Work sucks.
At the end of the day, you know, like it's all the same shit. You know what I mean? Like it might be it varies a little every day, but at the end of the day, it's all the same stuff that you're dealing with every day. You know what I mean? Work's work. You know, I get it. Yeah.
And I will, like, with Micah's question of like, how do you unwind from that? It is fucking difficult. And I think what I cooked up in the shower earlier was sort of the idea.
You cook in the shower?
No. But I thought of that question of just like, you know, like how do you like what predisposes you to being capable of dealing with this? And it's generally what I've come up with.
I was trying to hype you up. You should have said you cooked in the shower.
I do.
Sorry,
cook in the
continue.
shower.
Sorry.
But like it really is like I happen to be someone who can regulate emotion well. Mm-hmm. Like I mean, you could be like, I fucked your mom.
Hey, that's a skill.
And I'm
though.
like,
cool, bro.
I'm not gonna like be like, let's fight, right?
Right,
like,
I'll fuck you up.
Yeah,
It sounds like you're just emotionally mature.
Probably.
I'm just saying, like people. Maybe I fit in the same camp with you. Is like I never understood the people who let emotions control what they do. Like that's something that, in my opinion, is pretty almost. I'd say. I don't know. Like you're a human being. You have free thinking, critical thought. Like. You should be able to regulate how you feel and not let that affect how you react. Like you need to be able to step back for a second. So I get what you're saying because I never understand the like rash knee-jerk reaction. Like don't get me wrong, I've been tempted by it. I think everyone has. Everyone wants to. But then you stop and you're like, okay, well, like for example, my biggest example I would say is like playing a video game and I get killed and I really want to fucking throw my controller. But like I knew so many people in high school that break their controllers and have to go buy new ones, and I'm like, why would you throw it? Like that won't solve your problem.
That's exactly it.
So like, just don't throw it. Like,
I think there is, and I do have so much empathy for the people that are not doing that. You know, like it's not like a straightforward process like that. The connection from like I want to throw my because I've been
it's
there.
Emotional development.
You know what I mean? Like you're like I'm tensing my arm because I want to smash that thing. You know,
it's
like,
just experience. It's understanding that feeling and not letting it control you. But you have to experience it enough to where you finally get to a point where you can control it.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I think
good.
I fucking my like drug history, like not saying like but like I was a heroin addict at one point in my life. Like I've been in very intense scenarios in my life, medically as well, and like for whatever reason, my nervous system is not blowing up when like shit's going bad. Like business is not correct. Like I'm able, like for instance,
calm
like
under pressure.
Yeah, and like I've sat there and I have I've lost thousands of dollars because I didn't send an email at one time and I forgot about it, and shit's like, you know, we're like the food truck was supposed to be booked here. We got accepted. I didn't send the email because I missed it, and I still thought I was on the schedule. And that weekend comes up and it's. Boom, we lose $5,000, $10,000. I can sit there and say, hey, that's horrible. I need to not do that next time. But I can also, when Michaela gets home from work, I can sit there and be like, what are you doing for dinner? Are you excited to watch our show? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, dude.
Yeah, and I don't know why I can do that, but what you said, emotional intelligence and just like that's the idea. Like we all fuck up. We're always gonna fuck up, and like the more responsibility you have, the more your fuck ups matter. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if I make $50,000 a year as an individual and I lose $1,000, that's 50th of our business. If I run a business, that's a $50 million business, corporate gig, and I lose us $50,000. You know, like it's like it's important. It should be recognized, but like. It's like, how do we separate this
perspective?
I'm not a fuck up because I fucked up, because I promise you I fucked, and I know you know it, and you sound like you know it too. When you fuck up, it's like wallowing in that fuck up is just so bad for you.
You can't do that.
No.
Well, it's people who wallow in it. It's almost therapeutic to them. They want to wallow in it as much as it sucks. It feels like a punishment. And they feel like they deserve a punishment, so sitting in that emotion and not moving anywhere and not getting anything done and not correcting the problem to them feels like that's what they deserve. So it's difficult because you need to be able to understand that, okay, yeah, I messed up, but I can't let this mess up hold me back because I don't have the luxury to sit here and wallow in it. I've got shit to do. I've got to get stuff done. So I got to, compartmentalize it, come back to it, use it as a learning experience, and move on.
See, and that's what separates leaders from not leaders, right? So obviously you got a leader's perspective, right? Because you understand that mistakes happen. You understand that you can't let it set you back, right? Like you're not perfect, right? Like nobody's perfect. I don't care if you're the president of the United States. You're not a perfect guy. You know what I mean? Like so, that's it. That's all I got.
No, that's fair. I think where you struggle with, because like I just know, like, for instance, like I'm maybe too I guess I don't know what side of brain it is on, but one of my favorite parts of my relationship with Michaela is like she is so much more in tune with like her emotional side than I am.
Well, chicks usually are.
I was gonna say yeah.
That's a girl thing.
Yeah, but she is, and like I sometimes. It being refreshed on that moment where she's like, I just need to feel what's happening. I'm like, yeah, but there is a limit to how long you need to feel what's happening.
There's a reason why.
There's a balance there.
Yeah, there's a reason why couples flourish together.
Yes, right, exactly. Yes. You got to understand what you're feeling, but then like you gotta cut that shit off.
How are we gonna solve that?
Well, exactly. That's the thing. So like, I think every man
feelings are a tool, right?
Yes.
Like your feelings, like whatever you're feeling, is a tool to understand how to either improve whatever you're feeling that made you feel bad, or to continue whatever you're feeling made you feel good.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Right. You know what I mean?
I think,
and that's where a difference, like what I think what you're about to say is how a difference is between to male and female, whatever.
Well, I was gonna say, I think every man has been there where your significant other comes home and they're like, wow, my day sucked, this was wrong, this was wrong, this is wrong, and you sit there and go, well, why don't you try doing this or that or this? And then they just look at you, and then now you're sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
like,
oh shit.
You're like, how did I end up here? Like, I just offered a solution. They don't want the solution because at that moment, and I'm not saying
that's not what they needed.
Yeah, I'm not just. I'm not saying this is just women. I'm saying like this can be anybody. But women tend to lean towards this emotional side. It's not good nor bad. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
And so we've all been there where we've offered a solution, and the solution to the actual problem of what they're saying is not to offer solution. The solution is to listen and go, that sucks.
I've actually found that like it legitimately is good. Like, it's not offered advice, because that's like the go-to is saying like, I don't want advice, I just want someone to hear me, right?
Yeah.
You know, but I will say like something I've learned from like watching like Michaela's process of dealing with something very stressful at work has been like, feel the stress. You know what I mean? Like feel, like straight up feel that stress. And I think that circles back into even like how I can't even unwind is just straight up being like, sometimes I'm just like, I feel it. It is horribly stressful. I know I am very stressed right now. 6 months ago, I wasn't that stressed. 6 months from now, this is not going to be a big deal. And in those moments where I'm like, I'm just feeling it. I'll be stressed. Let me take a page out of her book and be like, I'll just be stressed right now. I'm like, what I won't do is behave that way.
Yeah.
Because it's just not the way that I like to be. But
it's not beneficial.
yeah, because I'm a problem solver. If I when she's talking and she's talking about problems, I'm like, I'm gonna try and solve it. Even if I have the problem solved in my head, I still am gonna sit there and be like, I know who I gotta email in 3 days, but I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna play RuneScape, or I'm gonna fucking lay on the couch and I'm gonna breathe and I'm gonna be like, this is not life or death. And I think that's so important. It's not. Like, I might run a business, but it's not my life. Like, that's, and I think that's for anybody that works any job. Like, you have, beautiful women in your life. You have a son, like, there's just, like, it, like.
They, them.
They, them. I'm not, yeah. I'm not gendering your children. But, like.
He's a he. I'm gendering him.
Yeah. But, like.
You haven't changed his diaper. How do you know?
Man.
Yes, I have.
No, you have not.
Okay.
Zero chance you've changed Connor's tape. Zero chance. Sorry.
No. But y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
like, it's
100%,
like
yes.
those moments, like when you're at your home and you're like, the government's like. I mean, and honestly, you should know it well because you've been to prison. I've been in jail a few times.
Yep.
Like, when someone's really able to like rug pull you at the moment's notice, it like gives you better perspective on the fact that like. If I'm at home in my bed with my woman, like, there's, like, that's not going away tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, someone's not going to, like, wake me up at 5 a.m. and be like, hey, lights on, like, you're in somewhere else, like, you're going to this unit. Like, it just is not the same thought. Like, even if you're getting fucking evicted, even if you're, shit's slowly drained, it's hard to... It's not often that everything is just shredded from your life. And so just taking advantage of those moments and being like, I'm okay.
Being able to
I love that. Yes. Yeah, dude.
I am okay, at least for this,
for right now. Yes. Yeah, dude.
Live in the moment.
So valuable.
Yes, it is so valuable. It is.
Yeah.
That's what you live for.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah, of course. And like that's it.
If we're
living in the moment, not to be rude, if we're living in the moment, is it time for a piss break?
Well, I mean it is, but like it is time for a piss break, but like that's what we're here for.
Piss break time continues.
Like I don't give a shit what happened 10,000 years ago. I don't give a shit what's gonna happen 100 years from now. Like I give a shit what's happening now.
Can I take this moment and be like, I'm not going. Like, I mean,
yes.
Maybe will I be broker tomorrow
or
whatever?
Yeah.
That's fine. But my bed's not going anywhere.
No, and is the world gonna keep spinning? If I'm not here, yes, it is. You know what I mean? That's what
gratitude.
That's what prison taught me. Sitting in jail for 2 years. Like what you don't realize is. Nobody gives a shit. Like the whole world, everything keeps going without you in it. They don't care, like it's all about the in the moment stuff. And you know what I mean? That's what it's all about is living your life.
And that's so true because my cousin, and I know we want to piss break, but my little cousin just got sent away for 17 years.
Oh God!
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
Wow.
Was at his sentencing hearing in May last year.
That's rough.
And I'm gonna be honest, like I think that. It is easy to be forgotten about when you're sitting there. Surely you know that better than me.
Yep.
But at the same time, it goes both ways. You know what I mean? Like you're like the world keeps turning in there. You like it's a different set of circumstances, but that's still a world that's existing. And I think it's easy on the outside saying they're missing everything. No, you're living an entire life, you know what I mean? Like, stuff's happening to you, every time I talk to them. I'm like, it's easy for me to jump into the hole of being like, oh, like, stuff's only happening. But I'm like, I actually want to hear about your life, you know? I need, like, you know, the stuff's it's still going. And it's easy to forget the value of that.
Having that perspective and
you know?
doing that, asking him those questions probably means quite a bit.
Yeah. You know, like it's
Piss break.
Piss break.
I want to talk about this so
Braden,
much.
you're mic'd up, so I'm just gonna edit this out because you're mic'd up. So there's ain't no way we're stopping that.
Let's go.
Oh shit.
About prison.
We're back from Pittsburgh. We're talking about prison. This Braden's cousin's in federal penitentiary. He's doing time if he's in federal.
Doing serious time.
From what I know, he's like you can't make federal parole unless you do
85% or something like that.
Okay, I knew it was some sort of percentage. That's crazy.
They're not giving. He might be out when he's like 35 or something like that. And I mean,
Damn, and as a 23-year-old, that's impossible to.
And he got picked up when he was 20, just after 21, like almost 22. I mean, most of his life.
That's rough.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a super sticky subject too. You know, like because
I'm just saying, why don't we just take all the prisoners and send them to an island?
No, so like you know, all we gotta do with them is
17th century Britain be like,
and this
17th Britain be like, hey, why don't we just take all our troublemakers and send them somewhere else
and push us somewhere? So and this is no
Ethan, I'm talking about Australia.
I thought you were talking about SpongeBob.
No, Australia. Britain literally
kind of
just
a
shipped
tag
all
team
their
joke.
criminals.
Well, yeah.
That's the joke I was saying, and then Ethan goes, "No, that's a horrible idea," and I'm like, "Oh my god, it's not a real idea."
So the direction I thought you were going, and no offense to your cousin, was I thought we were going to put him in a dam and have him crank that soldier boy or whatever.
Is that just a running gag now?
I mean, you know,
when we're talking about prison, we got to lighten it up.
We have to lighten it up. So, as far as I'm concerned, why don't we put the prisoners to use and give us some energy and have them crank those turbines?
And so,
you know what I mean?
what we could do is we could make team prisoner, team homeless, and just see who can generate more power.
Can I actually ask you a question about your time there? So, for
Absolutely.
instance, like, I think.
Is he in Texas? You said he's in Texas.
Louisiana right now.
Louisiana,
Yeah.
okay.
So I feel like when I talk to him, I have to make the conversation like it's got to get like you're in there for a long time. After a while, like the charges shouldn't matter. You know, like it's so easy for me to be like, you're in prison, you know, like all that, you know, but it's like do you want to be treated normally in some capacity? It's like, oh yeah, I'm here. That should happen.
No, yeah. So you don't want to. So he knows where he's at.
Yeah.
Or he knows exactly what's going on with him. You don't want to remind him. You want to do anything you can to make him forget that he's in prison.
Sure.
Like that's honestly like the best answer I can give you.
And I like, so when I talk to him, he's like, man, I'm like apprenticing for like their tattoo artist that's in there. And he's like making needles and shit. And I'm like, yo, like what's going on with that? You know, like your life still is going. Like you're like whatever you, like I'm like I want to know what you're doing just as much as, and you might be in prison, but like I don't care about like, I'm not like, do you get raped in the shower? Like,
no, yeah,
you know,
don't.
That's
goofy ass questions.
That's the fucking.
Like,
that's the media interpretation of the prison. That's the like TV show and like all that. No, I'm just saying like that's the stuff that you see that they taught. Like that's the focus of that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen in real life. I'm saying that the focus that sounds like something you'd be like on a TV show. Like, oh well.
I mean, like I never saw anybody get raped, but I'm saying don't downplay that shit.
I'm not downplaying it. I'm saying that not the action happening is media. I'm saying the concern about that happening is media. Like as an individual, him asking questions, like you just alluded to, that's a dumb question. But media would make it seem like that's the important aspect of the question.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's not. I'm not downplaying that. I'm just saying like media. That's a media question.
It is. You're right. Yeah.
It's like it is a task reminding myself of like you're like living your life here. Like that is an entire thing, and like it's so reductive for me to be like. He's like, yeah, I'm like apprenticing for a tattoo artist, and then I'm like, you get raped in the shower, dude. You know, like that's so like, you are your sentence or something, you know.
Yeah.
And rather than being like, look, you're locked up. I like categorically, we both know that. You know it better than me. I'm just curious, like, well, how's life? How's shit going? You know, when he asked me, and I know that he wants to hear about what's going on with me because it takes him out of there.
So speaking from like my experience, at least I can't speak for anybody else. I was in for just under 2 years. I would say that the best thing that you could do is talk about anything other than to do with what he's got going on. You know what I mean? And I don't know who like how he is as a person, how he thinks or whatever, but like as far as I was concerned, I was always looking for some sort of distraction, right? You know, like I knew my situation. I knew I was locked up. I knew I was paying some sort of penalty for whatever I did, and I knew that I was always looking for something to distract me from the fact that I was locked up while the rest of the world was going on with whatever they were doing. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? Like so, and like I said, I can't speak for your cousin or whatever, but I would say that the more you can do to distract him from his situation, the better.
Yeah.
You know?
It's funny too because it's like so much of like my like conversation technique is like trying to ask the other person questions. Like you know, like I'll be interested and be interesting. You know, like that kind of vibe. And
But
with that, I'm like almost like I'm disobeying my like typical conversation techniques because I like want to be like I don't want to come across as self-aggrandizing or anything, but I'm like, hey, if this is gonna get you out of here, or like give you an escape or something.
Right. Yeah. You know, and with that being said,
you feel that there?
I do. Like, you know, and I guess it might depend on the person.
Sure.
But for me, I was embarrassed to be where I was. You know what I mean? Because I knew I did something I shouldn't have done. You know, I knew I fucked up. You know, and I didn't want to talk about it. You know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I don't know how you know. I don't know your cousin's specific situation, but I know that talking about it for me, you know, kind of made it a little worse for me being in there, you know, because like you're like being in jail, you know, being locked up. You're literally that's what you're thinking about every single minute of every single hour of every single day.
You're reminded of
you know,
sure you know
exactly. Yeah. You know, so and that's what you're thinking about when you're trying to fall asleep. That's what you're thinking about when you wake up. You know what I mean? So when you have somebody coming from the real world is what we called it, asking about.
What's
life like? You know what I mean? Like, that's not what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, you want to know what's going on.
You're already there.
Exactly.
So
you know,
that's interesting because I imagine
it's a great point.
We being on the outside,
and that's a real point. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
no, absolutely.
It's interesting because that's something I wouldn't have thought about from someone not having been in that experience. Because in my head, I'm thinking about it as in like I want to show interest in you. I want to show, you know, like. I care about you. I want to know how you're doing, but you don't think about what you just said where you're living that every day, so you don't want to think about it. So like it's interesting to see how that could probably be misconstrued where person on the outside is asking how you're doing, how's life going in there in an attempt to, like you said, be interested, be interesting, you know, converse about that, but the person you don't realize the person on the inside is like, I don't want to think about it. I don't
well, that's exactly what I was kind of curious about.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a perfectly justifiable thing to be curious about because your intentions are
Earnest.
great.
Yeah,
they're good. You have good intentions. You know what I mean? But from somebody who's sitting in jail, like that's the last thing they want to think about. To be honest with you, you know what I mean?
And it's a fantastic thing of like perspective.
Exactly.
I think that, like, this is a valuable conversation to have, because like, legitimately, I'm not gonna waste my time talking to him. And ironically, like, it's just not a natural conversation. Be like, is it normal for me to like ask you? You know, like, but in my mind, I'm sitting there because like I'm sure, like, surely, like when you're like hanging out, if your sister calls you and she's like, I'm killing it, I'm doing, and all she wants to talk about is herself, you're like, that's socially a faux pas or whatever.
And any other situation, yes.
Exactly.
Not in that situation. No, sitting like in jail, I would get letters from my parents, my sisters, whatever, for my birthday, for Christmas, whatever, and that was the best part of my entire experience. Not because of, you know, anything I was giving them, because of what they were giving me. They were giving me that insight into the world that I forgot was going on.
Yeah,
you know,
and it made it feel part of it.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. Because
Yep.
sorry, I just want to say it, but like, shout out my cousin, but like I'm coming to terms with it, and like something that I really, when I went to his sentencing, like I don't have little brothers, and now I have one stepbrother, but like I know he's gonna be gone for a long time, and I really, really want to make sure that he feels like he's not forgotten. And he's gone for so long that I know that like at some point his parents even might not be able to like show up the way that, and like I don't think, at least based on the responses I've got from him, he's like looking for me for like that at all. But I just already am kind of like, I want to make sure that like he's never forgotten in my mind, and like,
okay,
you know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean. I know better than probably anybody you might ever talk to, honestly. The more attention you give him, the better. You know, like, whatever letter you send him, you know, include a couple pictures of, I don't care if it's a picture of fucking trees. You know what I mean? Like, just send him whatever. You know, he's going to appreciate whatever you send him. I guarantee it 100%. You know, anything, any pictures, anything. Any communication from the outside world is worth $1 million in there.
Amazing. Hell yeah!
$1 million.
I don't want to be overbearing, you know.
Yeah.
But
No, it's a deep conversation, dude. It is.
Yeah.
You know, and I want it to, you know, yeah, it's.
Well, sitting here listening to this, you know, very heavy subject.
It's super heavy.
And to kind of lighten it a little bit, it sounds like you clearly care about your cousin, which is amazing. I think anyone can pick that up from here. It sounds like it's good for you to get a chance to talk to someone who's been there on that side, and get to hash that out, so you can further kind of benefit your cousin, know how to talk to him more that will give him more benefit than what you've been doing, which what you've been doing is great, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know any of my cousins that would talk to me in prison.
So here's the thing. So people who are locked up, you know, at least from my perspective, they're thinking of two things most of the time, right? They're thinking of when the fuck are they gonna get out, and the other thing they're thinking about is what is everybody else doing. You know what I mean? So one, you can't tell them when they're gonna get out, but you can tell them what you're doing. You know,
that's a good way to put it.
And,
you know,
and so
that's it.
So, oh, sorry. I was gonna say, so this is a great opportunity for you. You're starting. When he got locked up, you were starting the food truck, right?
Yeah.
Getting started. Okay. I'm assuming you probably keep him up to date on the progress of the food truck and the business.
When I talk to him,
yeah. So this is amazing, because now, as you progress through the years and as he gets closer and closer to his release date, he's gonna be able to be like, hey, I was there, like not there, but he told me, I followed along what he was doing from day one. I got to follow along the progression of his business, fantastic business he grew. I was there. I heard about it. He told me about it when it was just a tent. He told me about it when he was just a single food truck. He told me about it when we were just getting started in a bar and a restaurant. And then I was there when he had 3 chains and like doing all this stuff like that. I'm sure is talking about the restaurant is probably like an amazing escape for him.
That's a great point. I like I said, I've been bad about it because I don't want to be like me
Yeah.
when I'm on the phone, you know. And I think that's I needed to hear that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
No,
like
that's-
seriously,
Yeah,
I needed the affirmation that like that's
the right
valuable
thing to do.
because I don't want to come across. I'm not like, hey, dude, I'm just obsessed with me. I'm calling you to like get gratification on myself. Like, I'm generally not doing that, and so it feels uncomfortable to be like me, because in the calls I've had with him, it's just like. I want to hear what he's going through, not because of my own personal self-interest, but more so like my like ingrained point of view of being like, I want to be interested in what's happening.
It's
with
the
you,
social thing
you know?
to do. It's the polite thing to do in
But
society.
But in this situation, it feels, from what you've said, that's acceptable.
It is. It is. Yes. So I would give him the opportunity to talk about whatever he wants to talk about. But I guarantee you, he does not want to talk about whatever he's going through. Honestly,
sure.
Like
I don't doubt that at all.
And
it makes perfect sense. I just needed someone to fucking
that's how it is. Like
Yeah.
it's nothing. He's not proud of anything. I guarantee you, he's not proud of what he's going through. You know what I mean? And with that being said, he might want to talk about it, but I doubt it. You know what I mean?
And I mean,
like he probably wants to hear more from you than he does want to tell you what he's going through.
So, so to the people listening, check out our previous, what was it? Exploring Minds. I almost said interview, but Exploring Minds with Ethan, where we talked to Ethan about kind of his time in prison, and you'll get a really good insight into what it was like, and it'll give a little, with this conversation we're having, it'll give a good background, an understanding of what Ethan went through, and so you can see kind of his knowledge on the topic and his experience on the topic. And so I would suggest you go listen to that. And then also, this is a very heavy topic, and so what I want to do is I want to lighten the mood a little bit, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, damn. I feel very bad sitting here and just listening because it's very heavy and I feel so bad. But at the same time, anyone listening, thank you for sticking through, because you know what? This was a fantastic insight into what Ethan has experienced, what you're going through, what your cousin's going through. And I want to just emphasize that is it's always great. I always appreciate hearing and understanding what other people are experiencing.
Absolutely.
But that being said, hopefully he's doing okay. Hopefully things go well. And it sounds like he's doing at least something with the apprenticeship with the tattoo artist thing. And
well,
let me say, maybe we can do, according to our prison reform episode, maybe we can get some sort of reform in there where he gets a chance to really flourish and learn a trade and learn something.
Well,
as influential as we are.
Hey, no, well, I'm not bashing whatever your cousin got going on. I'm sure he's got like a good little side hustle going on, but the tattoo apprenticeship is not sanctioned by the prison.
No.
That's straight up like a prisoner apprenticing another prisoner.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well,
that's how they did it in 17th century.
I mean, like, I just, 17 years is a long time, and 17 years is an opportunity to get too deep into what you don't want to get too deep into. And I don't want you to overstep your bounds whenever you talk to him, but...
Well, it'd probably be beneficial for you to remind him.
I bounce around with that a bit.
It's probably beneficial for you to remind him.
I don't know what his parole situation is.
There's going to be an outside life.
I'm going to be honest with you. It's not... bro, I'm 29.
Uh-huh.
I can't tell anybody what 17 years is like.
How old is your cousin?
He's 22, 23.
Well, you need to tell him.
I mean, he
doesn't know.
You can tell, but like...
I understand.
I mean, hell, even in my fucking personal health life, when I was that age, didn't take care of it.
No. Neither did I.
It's just, I can't... I think about myself. I think about it like when I'm 40, he'll be getting out of there, and like that's just like the mad concept of like I can't actually. I can sit here and be like, don't get caught up in all that gang shit.
Well,
if it keeps you alive.
Well, yeah,
and
that's another
shit
thing
for,
too.
For 17 years.
Yes.
I don't know what you're going through.
So
dude.
is he?
It's so disrespectful for me to sit here and tell you how to survive that environment. I don't know.
Exactly.
You know, and that's like, I know what I've seen and what I can hear, but it's
So
like,
where is he locked up?
he's locked up in
Louisiana?
In Louisiana. I don't know
Okay.
the name of the facility, but
We're gonna plan a prison break.
hopefully,
Allegedly.
yeah, allegedly. And I mean, shit, man. I hope that we relax our laws and maybe get some leniency down the road. But I mean, it's just, you know, I can give him. I do try to avoid imparting advice. I am the oldest cousin, and and I don't think he wants to hear it. Truthfully, not in a bad way, not a bad way. But I don't want to be that nagger. Like, he's got a mom, he's got a dad. I'm sure they rip him with that.
I'm going to tell you this right now.
I wouldn't be too sure.
No, I'd say nag him. Do it because
I would say nag him.
Yeah, because he's going to remember that. Like, that's going to be, you're going to be the one person that, because everyone's going to take that stance, in my opinion. Everyone's going to take that stance. I don't want to nag him. I don't want to life lesson him, all that stuff. But if you do it and you do it well and you tell him good things, positive things, keep him looking forward, he's going to remember that. And when he gets out, maybe, you know, with the business and everything, he's got a job lined up.
Yeah, so
I would love that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know.
Sorry to interrupt, but
no, you're fine. Like,
I think we were somewhat along the same path.
So,
there.
yes, we are. Yeah. You can't nag somebody in there enough, because whatever you're thinking, they're thinking too. I guarantee it. You know, they don't want to be in there any more than you want them to be in there. Correct. And you know, as far as Fed time, I from my understanding, you have to pay a good amount of that before you're even eligible for parole, right? So like out of the 17 years,
they're like
out of the 17 years, he's
yeah.
probably doing at least 10 plus, right?
I know how you can get him out.
A lot of rifles.
No, I was gonna say he was a part. He was
a lot of rifles and a lot of whiskey.
He was a part of. He just write a letter to Trump and be like, yeah, he was part of the January 6th protests.
Oh yeah, he's
pardoned. Get pardoned immediately.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so yeah, I don't know. That's
just me trying to lighten the mood there.
That's sticky, dude. I don't. You know, people fuck up, and
it sounds like you're doing a good job talking to him. You're doing better than my cousins would, at least. And I appreciate, you know, you coming on and sharing something like that, because that's pretty deep. That's dealing with family, and that it means a lot. And Ethan, don't you dare break any of that whiskey. Oh, never mind. It's the Crown section. Who cares?
I was
about
gonna
Crown?
say this is the vodka.
Not me.
Yeah, no. Crown is me. You love Crown. What are you talking about?
I do like Crown.
Yeah, Crown is. But yeah. So thank you for sharing that, Braden.
Absolutely.
That was wow. That was quite a bit, and I appreciate every second of it, because that was really good to hear. Ethan did not set his phone to do not disturb. Man, what a novice.
I said it to vibrate.
That's what she said. So anyway,
she doesn't say that to me.
what does that mean?
I mean, she doesn't need a vibrator.
The fuck does that mean?
It means what it means.
He's got gyration, dude.
Gyrate.
There you go. See, he
All
knows
right,
what it means.
Let's keep it PG-13.
We did.
And okay.
They don't know what gyration means.
Exactly.
13-years don't know.
Gyroscope.
That goes way over their head.
So, all right. So we're sitting here. We did the Bacardi. We did rye. We've done Irish whiskey. What do you guys think is good?
Well, we did Irish. We did a classic.
Well, hang on, real quick, before we pick something else. So you need to be here when we do a world tour.
Oh God.
World tours are phenomenal here. So what we literally do is we line up. We go, okay, what country are we gonna start in? And we pick a country. So like, for example, Ireland. So you go ahead and you try all of the Irish whiskeys. Then from Ireland, you go across the pond. And you go for like the shank, like Ireland. You move over. You come to the U.S. You do a bunch of U.S. whiskeys. Then you go. I had a Japanese whiskey. We do the Japanese. Oh, it is very much you're sleeping on the couch.
We're going around the world, but really we're just getting
world
travel. My
travelers.
dad's
Exactly. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yep. We're taking a whiskey tour of the world, but really we're just getting fucked up.
I'm so down, dude.
Yeah.
We'll do that sometime.
Fantastic.
Which also, we'll have to have him back. We should have him back for, we should try to do a fireside chat.
Well, we should have a fireside chat, and I want to talk to him more about the whole thing he's got going on with his cousin, because that's a deep conversation. There's a lot more to be said.
Shit, I'll get my fucking uncle up here. That'd be a cool chat.
Hey, man,
he's done the whole process of it. I honestly, I think he's been dealing with it for a while. It's been about 1.5 years, like
good old Dickel
process, like sentencing, all of that. Like I saw him speak at the sentencing, all of that.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool as fuck.
That'd be awesome.
He's also super chiller, like loved it.
Yeah.
Have a glass of whiskey and talking about this shit too.
Yeah.
But like, it'd be cool to. I think it would be good for him, low key.
Awesome.
If y'all are open to that.
We're open. We're open to anything. So like. Like this subject hits home, honestly, like
as it should,
pretty hard. You know, like I accept, yeah, I've been to prison, whatever. And it's all about the effort that is being put into making people better than what they were going in,
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean that's all it comes down to, really.
And I get scared for him because I don't want him to forget that.
Yeah,
he's in there a long time, because I imagine, just based on myself,
it's easier.
If I was in there a long time, I might forget what the real world was worth.
It is, and it's easy to forget that, and it's the people like you that are going there and talking to them and reminding them what it's like outside that keeps people pushing forward, and with that, we'll toast.
Toast to Ethan having advice on this. Toast to your cousin, hopefully.
Benjamin.
Here's to Benjamin.
Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
Dickel Rye. Yeah. In the words of Hannah Montana, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody makes those.
Nobody's perfect.
Oh shit! Let's go.
So to take it back just a little bit, Braden, as an entrepreneur, someone running a business, someone doing all these things, what is some advice you can offer to people who want to start that, but they don't know where, how, or anything? They're just they got this idea and they want to make it a vision and a reality.
That's a good question. I honestly will say, and it kind of ties back into what I was saying earlier, it's do it. Just do it. Like,
not affiliated with Nike.
Well, but we Nike that shit anyway.
Yeah, I'm serious, man. Like when I started doing what I do, it was taking my friend's money and saying, I don't want you to lose money because I love you, and I think that what you're doing is financially responsible, but I am gonna be damned if it loses value. You could have put your money elsewhere and it would have been better.
So how did you get that first step? And you said your friends and losing that money. Was that your first step? Was that realization that you needed to not lose him money?
I would sit there and say and honestly I would say it with you guys, you're I want to start a podcast. Best way to start a podcast, start podcasting.
This is 2 years. It's been 2 years since we started.
But that's what I'm saying. It's you listen to Rogan and he fucking talks and he's like, I did this shit for 10 years and I fucking didn't make a dime off of it.
Yes.
You don't get where you are if you don't do this shit. It's fantastic.
You gotta
if you want to perfect everything and create I understand the
was
idea
me.
behind it, being like, oh, like create a roadmap.
Being perfectionist.
And like,
yeah.
No. But the like the yin and the yang is fantastic. Like
You have to have that.
That's Tyson and I like legitimately like the amount of times I've been like the bread recipe's fucking good. No one can tell the difference between the batches. He's like,
bro, it's just bread.
Yeah, well, like it's
Gotta
just
get
like,
that bread.
but without that fucking focus,
Yes.
the bread's never valuable and it's not good. Now it's
Yes.
fucking something everybody talks about. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like it requires the yin and the yang. So like my best advice is just to like, one, you can't do it on your own. Facts. Like just period. You're not doing anything great by yourself. Like you have skills, but they're not
Find the
they're not
complementary
everything.
skills.
They're not everything.
Yeah, find the people who can complement
everybody,
you.
like you just like a business is not one thing.
No.
You know?
Yep.
And like what you're saying is like you've got an exacto mindset, and then like, you know, when you're providing, there's like real world knowledge, and it's just the sweet spot, and then it's just doing it, being like, I'm gonna devote some of my time, energy, money, perhaps, into just doing this until it becomes successful.
Mm-hmm.
It's like assholes expect results immediately. Geniuses are willing to put the time in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like genuinely, like you don't like you're not getting anywhere. First year 2021, I'm like, we're gonna be
Patience.
millionaires. You know,
Patience.
like
Yeah.
maybe thought that one day we could do something crazy, but like, you know, legitimately I am where I am now from this stuff. I pay myself. Like that's crazy and cool.
That is cool.
I don't pay myself great, but
So-
like I pay myself, and I did that for 4 years to create the position that I'm in, where nobody tells me what to do. I do everything I want to. That position was cultivated by like, I'm just gonna dive in, fucking do it. Just
It sounds like your suggestion is just do it.
it's bad suggestion.
Just do it. Find those who can compliment you, and patience.
Patience.
Yep.
Hammer that one in,
Yep.
man.
So, and I will say from our experience, that's definitely what this starting a podcast has been. It's been a lot of patience, been a lot of just do it. It's been a lot of finding the right mix between us. So, I think that's fantastic advice. And anyone who's stuck it out and gotten to this point, I hope they're rewarded with having listened this far. And I hope they take that to heart and they can really work with it. Braden, I want to thank you for coming out.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
man.
making it here,
Anytime.
having a good time,
blast.
sharing your story, sharing everything else. We're definitely going to have you back on. This was really fun.
yeah.
I think the listeners are going to enjoy this very much. And I think it's going to be a staple. We got our first guest, and I think our first regular guest.
It was awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
So that being said, everyone made it this far. Show your support for Braden. Share, like, do the thing, get the word out.
And show your support for this podcast.
Well, I was going to say, so Braden, New Berlin, that's the name of your restaurant.
Yep.
You are in the Reunion Bar down in Nashville.
Yeah.
You're open every day of the
We're
week?
open every day.
All right.
Yeah. Come see us.
Come check out some amazing cuisine from Braden and Tommy and
Tyson.
Tommy and Tyson. All right. I almost had it.
He's used to it.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening, and we will catch you next time.